Shalom and welcome once again to Elders of GMS, giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Today's topic is entitled, Consume the Whole Word. And this is a very important topic because you got a lot of these Israelite groups out there that they go off. I mean, they pretty much do the standard breakdowns. You know, they pretty much have a understanding of the scriptures, but you have to understand the whole word, the entire word, to go out there, or the entire Bible, which includes the Apocrypha, in order for you to go out there and teach that word. Now I'm gonna say a few words before I go into the actual topic. Like I said in the last show, well, that last show was basically fireworks. If you go to one of the pages that was up, I think The End of the World, which is a news site on YouTube, there was a lot of fireworks, you know, with that whole thing about the Facebook account. A lot of guys got upset. They wanted to know why, and I mean, I ain't even say nothing on that because I was basically laughing, you know, at the reaction, which I knew we were going to get that reaction. You know, a lot of guys are emotional, man, which reminds me of this movie, and you can see it on YouTube. It's called The Bounty, starring Mel Gibson and Anthony Hopkins. And in that movie, man, they showed how stern Captain Blythe, Anthony Hopkins played Captain Blythe, and the ship got all out of order because they were falling for them Japhetic women, because Japhetic woman is beautiful woman. The word Yapah means beautiful, you know, in Hebrew. And they fell in love with them women, and I guess the king had one of his wives and wanted one of his wives to lay with the captain. And the captain, you know, he's supposedly a Christian, and he wasn't going to lay with her. So he went down into the cabin with the woman, and he told the Mel Gibson character, what's his name, Fletcher Christian, to come down and say that there's an emergency so he can get out of the whole thing, and people would think that he had popped the woman. But the Mel Gibson character, he fell in love with one of the women on the island, and basically he got so damn emotional and messed up in his mind because Captain Blythe put that stern. He told him, he said, "For now on, I'm gonna be strict. You know, everything's gonna be done by the book." So them guys, instead of dealing with it, they bucked up against it. So they formed a mutiny. And then I'm watching the part where Mel, they can show you like a close-up of Mel Gibson. I said, "Look at that weak motherfucker, man." I wanted to punch this damn screen out, man, you know. And then once they kicked the captain and some of his crew off the ship, them guys that were following Mel Gibson, Fletcher Christian, they came against him. So I said, "That's what the fuck you deserve." But they had a council from the beginning of the movie. It went. That's like a what do you call it? A technique, or I forget the technical word. But you have movies where it starts from the end and then you reflect back to the beginning. There's a technical word for it, you know. But anyway, the movie started with him going to the council of these Edomites, these top Edomites. And he had to explain his whole situation. And at the end of the council or the inquiry, they exonerated him, you know, because they took his sword from him. And then when they said, "You're exonerated, you know, you're a good captain," and then they gave him his sword back, and he cried about it, you know. But now when you see the movie, if you act like some of them guys that had a problem with me saying you got to take down your Facebook account, the ones of you that bucked up against it, you in that so-called Mel Gibson spirit, all right? And I did say, I said, if a couple of people said, "Well, why?" First of all, we have an order. We don't got to tell you nothing, man. It's an order, man. When the order comes down, like when the Lord put Peter first, it said, upon this rock I shall build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. All right. Did Matthew jump up and say, no, I think so-and-so, we should have a vote. Lord, this should be democratic. They didn't come up and say, well, why do Peter? They just went with the Spirit. So we're finding out that a lot of you guys are really not in the truth. You're not of the elect. And I want to do a show on that, on the elect. Now, I looked up the word chosen in Matthew. It said, many are called, but few are chosen. When you look up that word chosen, it's the same word for elect. So you got guys that are called into this, but then for some reason, they fall out, whether it be their woman, whether they got offended. Matthew, the 13th chapter, tell you about that, about them being offended. All right, matter of fact, go to that. Matthew, the 13th chapter, and it's right around about here. Could you close that? All right, go ahead.
Matthew chapter 13, verse 18. Hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. When any one heareth the word of the kingdom and understandeth it not, then cometh the wicked one and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart.
Right. So when you hear this word, you're called into it, but you fully don't understand it. But that's when the spiritual demon Satan messes with your mind, manipulates your mind. Go ahead.
This is he which received seed by the wayside. But he that received the seed into stony places, the same is he that heareth the word, and anon with joy receiveth it. Yet hath he no root in himself, but dureth for a while. For when tribulation or persecution ariseth because of the word, by and by he is offended.
He is offended. That's a key word. By and by he is offended. So a lot of you guys are either getting kicked out of the camps or you're falling off. You know, you're losing your patience. The scriptures speak about patience. And I said that. I said that in the first show. I think it was 2011, New Year's Eve of Destruction, or the very next, because that was done on a Friday night, and the very next show was done that morning, that Saturday, so-called Saturday morning. And I said, in either one of those shows, I said that we in 2011, and don't be surprised when guys fall off or guys get kicked out. All right? The Most High is tightening everything up. You guys that bucked up, why do we got to say that? And we can, that's a good tool to use. I don't give a damn if it's a good tool, man. This is about an order. If the Most High wanted you to have your opinion, he would have made you the top man and gave you the knowledge years ago. All right, go ahead.
Some real quick. This is Matthew chapter 16, verse 19. And I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven. And whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. And whatsoever thou shalt loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven.
That's right. That's right. Now let's go. Well, I'm gonna say this before I go into this. What I want you brothers to do, since you got different Israelite groups, we're gonna have to know who are the real groups to who are the fake groups. All right. If you're down with GMS, you're gonna have to identify yourself as GMS. You're gonna have to make a home site on YouTube, and it's gonna have to have GMS in the front of it. Now, if you have a problem with that, you can go on about your business. We won't recognize you anymore in the circle, so to speak. Okay, like I said, everything's got to be tight. So what we want you brothers to do, now we know how YouTube like to cut sites, but guess what? You put up another site, all right? Let's say, for example, Chicago. It would be GMS Chicago. You can have your other sites too. Because in the main camp, every man of rank is required to have at least 5 sites. At least. Because we're supposed to push this thing, man. You know, this is spiritual warfare. When Esau does his physical warfare, he brings in a lot of troops and he overwhelms people. So we got to overwhelm them on the web. We got this weapon. It's free for right now. We can use it. So why not go full blast? But anyway, your key, your main account should say either GMS Chicago, GMS Canada, you know, GMS Texas. Now I know that there's a couple of camps in Texas. It could be Southern Texas and Northern Texas or Western Texas and whatever. Florida, the same thing. You have many camps in Florida, or more than one camp in Florida. So you might have Northern Florida, all right? You got Southern Florida. You got the middle part of Florida, you know, or a section of Florida, GMS Fort Lauderdale, Florida camp or whatever. So we can start to identify ourselves. And I told y'all not to give Godspeed to anybody that's outside the circle. All right? Now, there was a video that was put up. This guy, Adiala, the guy that used to make videos that he had all them colors, you couldn't make out his face. Well, he came out with a video, and Killer Priest is in the video. He's wearing a white jacket. His name when he was in our camp was Karamaya. All right? And basically, he was saying, Nathaniel 7, he was mocking me, but you can, when you watch the video, you can see that Karamaya didn't feel right doing that. You can see it in the spirit that he didn't feel right doing that, so he said, let me stop, you know? Now that crackpot that you see, Adiala, a.k.a. Fred Sanford, all right, he's going into the scriptures trying to push this thing about Mary and Joseph never had sex. And the scriptures that he's pulling out, he doesn't even understand these scriptures. Like I said, you got guys out there still teaching that Cornelius is an Edomite. If they were deep in the scriptures and the Most High was dealing with them, they wouldn't be teaching that nonsense. That's why you got to understand the whole word, all right? Another thing, we're in the process of brothers, a couple of brothers are writing a book on Israel. And, you know, you heads of the camps, the different camps, don't worry, when we get the book out, we're going to probably give you a copy or a couple of copies once we get a publisher and we get the books professionally done, you know. That's what we're striving for. And then the members, you know, the ones, you got people out there that's not really a part of a camp, but they support us. They send tights and stuff. Like you have the membership on the GMS site, the GMS Tube site. Those members that have supported us, they're going to get copies of the book for free. But everybody else you're going to have to buy the book, you know, because it's going to cost us to publish the book. All right. So we got to find out all the details of how much it's going to cost and, you know, what we make back from the efforts that we put out. Because this thing is growing. This is going to the next level. All right. You got anything to say? Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Acts chapter 20, verse 28. Take heed, therefore, unto yourselves and to all the flock, over the which the Holy Spirit hath made you overseers, to feed the church of the Most High, which he hath purchased with his own blood. For I know this, that after my departing shall grievous wolves enter in among you, not sparing the flock. Also of your own selves shall men arise, speaking perverse things to draw away disciples after them. And like the elder Charles was saying, this guy Adiala, that's what they call him. If you know the video, they call themselves neo-saints. Now, if anybody that's in the know that the term neo is a key word for the New World Order. So they must have approached that guy or them other guys or whatever the case may be for them to use that name. And they saying that Ariel's going off. They're saying that Mary and Joseph never had sex. You know, then they saying that they say that Ariel's going off, and like Elder Gabar pointed out, he said that they calling themselves Judah. They said, well, look, we're Judah. It's three of us, three Judah. Where the hell did you learn that from? You learned that from Ariel. Ariel, the Spirit of the Lord came upon that man to break down the 12 tribes. And you calling yourself Judah, but on the other hand, you're saying that the man is going off. You know, and that what's happening right now, as we've been telling you, is that you got certain guys that came into this thing, they fell off for a certain period of time. Now they're seeing the prophecies come to pass, and they're trying to get back into this thing, but they can't because the Most High is blocking them. So what they're doing is they're going around trying to distort the truth and trying to teach otherwise and trying to teach against the doctrine, whether they just got demons on them or whether they were paid off. And the Most High is gonna start opening up on these guys, and some of you guys are gonna get caught up in that.
Yeah, the only ones that have the full truth is GMS. And we're not saying it to brag or boast, but even when you check out these comments, there's some brothers that don't even know all these people's names that come up there. I don't know these people personally, you know. I probably know them, but I don't know the username, who the name goes with. But a couple of times, guys would say, well, GMS taught the Hebrew, they go into the scriptures. They really the ones that really flooded this. You know, before we got on, you had a couple of Israelite groups like Nathaniel 7 and the guy we call Bubble Eye Blackfish. They had a couple of little videos here and there where they showed a segment or 10 minutes of a certain video if they was out there in the street. But we were the ones that went out there and showed you everything, man. You know, now we're showing you the Hebrew. How did you brothers know to keep the Passover? How did you know when the Passover came in? How did you know about the ram's horn and reading of the Torah and the Torah blessings? You didn't figure that out on your own. You had men teach you. All right. So, like I said, the Most High is he's putting a hedge around the men of the Most High, and he's pushing out the guys that ain't doing nothing. The guys that been bullshitting, lollygagging, you know, constantly bucking up against, you know, order and the way the scriptures are broken down. Like I said last week, Batak, he basically said that the elders were going off. I got the break. I know how to break it down. So we said, well, if you feel that way, you're on your own. And now he's trying to get back in this thing, but now he sees a block there. The door's closed on him. He can't come back in. He can't come back in. The only thing he can do is go out on his own and set up his own camp under his name or whatever. You know, you got something?
This is Baruch chapter 4, verse 28. For as it was your mind to go astray from the Most High, so being returned, seek him 10 times more.
That's right. So you got to come fully into this thing. But anyway, another thing, we're going to have GMS Tube. We had switched it over to another space on the web, but we're having technical problems, so we're trying to find out from the people that host the page what's going on. So they're going back and forth. I don't know what's going on because there's the people that put the page together and there's people that host the page. So they're kind of going back and forth, and we're paying them. And basically, if they can't figure out the problem, we're not gonna deal with them, you know. And these technical things happen. I guess they're trying to fix it up. If they don't do it by a month, they can keep that damn site. But what we're gonna do anyway, whether we keep the GMS Tube site or not, we're gonna set up private YouTube accounts where you can have 25 members of 25 usernames come on there, and basically that's for the heads of all the camps, and we're going to give you a lot of things that the average Joe doesn't get. We're going to still push out videos, you know, we're going to still push out this knowledge, but there's certain things that the average person that just casually watches, they're not going to get, all right? You know, you'll get certain things, certain lessons dealing with, we're going to go deeper into a lot more things, dealing with the law, how to deal with the police and so forth, dealing more into the Hebrew, you know. So now if we have 50, we're going to have, it's going to be open to the members that support us, and it's going to be open to the heads of the camp. So it's up to you to have, you can say your second in command, you can give them the username. You know, this is the name that you go on this site. Your second in command, your third in command, your fourth in command, however your order is set up. All right. And now the other guys under you, that's up to you. But you shouldn't really. You should have the heads. You know, whether it be 3 heads or whether it be 5 heads or whether it be 10 heads. Then you got the rest of the guys that are coming up. They come up. That's why you came in first and second and third and fourth, because you're the heads of the different states or the different countries. So the guys that came in after you, they got to come in up under you, man. Now, when they prove themselves, then they can slowly get up in there, man. All right, go ahead.
1 Corinthians 14 and 40, let all things be done decently and in order.
Yeah, because people have a problem with order. Well, this is the scripture, man. This is the scripture, you know. But anyway, that's pretty much it. And we'll keep you, we'll keep you informed as to what new things are happening. All right. Now let's go into the subject. I want to start with Ezekiel, the 2nd chapter, since the title is "Consume the Whole Word." Good scripture to start with is Ezekiel, the 2nd chapter, one of my favorite scriptures. Ezekiel, the 2nd chapter, the whole chapter, and then we're going to go to Ezekiel, the 3rd chapter. So we'll start with that.
Ezekiel chapter 2, verse 1. And he said unto me, Son of man, stand upon thy feet, and I will speak unto thee. And the Spirit entered into me when he spake unto me, and set me upon my feet. And I heard him that spake unto me. And he said unto me, Son of man, I send thee to the children of Israel.
Right, key point. That right there. Now, this is not for Ezekiel. This is for us today. This is for any prophet that reads it. All right? So, read that again.
And he said unto me, Son of man, I send thee to the children of Israel, to a rebellious nation.
You notice he said he sends you to the children of Israel, a rebellious nation, right? It didn't say nothing about Esau. It didn't say nothing about the other nations. So the Most High said was that in Malachi, he said he doesn't change. All right, that's what he says. He doesn't change. Okay, go ahead. So our word when we get this knowledge is to what? Is to wake up the children of Israel. Why would Ezekiel the 37th chapter be written? It speaks about the dry bones of the valley. Ain't no crackers up in them dry bones. It said all the dry bones, those are the children of Israel. So these guys talking about, if you really understand the scriptures and you have a real foundation of scriptures, you wouldn't be teaching that nonsense about Cornelius being an Edomite and Esau could be saved. Go ahead.
It says, and he said unto me, Son of man, I send thee to the children of Israel, to a rebellious nation.
And we know that. So we know that if we don't know anything else, we know that y'all got to be the children of Israel the way you buck up against this, man. There should be millions. There should be millions of our people woken up to this, man. Most of y'all buck up against this. Right. So that proves right there that you're Israel. That's one way of proving it. Go ahead.
To a rebellious nation that hath rebelled against me, they and their fathers have transgressed against me even unto this very day.
What's today? Today's date? Today's date is February 12th, 2011. To this very day, they're still rebellious. Go ahead.
For they are impudent children and stiff-hearted. I do send thee unto them, and thou shalt say unto them, Thus saith the Lord power. And they, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are a rebellious house, yet shall know that there hath been a prophet among them.
Yeah, because we have a job to do. We push this word out. We push this word out. If you don't accept it, well, we did our job. Matter of fact, what's that? Ezekiel the 33rd chapter, I believe it's in. And go right to the point. It might be the 18th verse. Right, or sin or committed. Yeah, go ahead.
Ezekiel 33, I'll start at 17. It says, Yet the children of thy people say, The way of the Lord is not equal, but as for them, their way is not equal. When the righteous turneth from his righteousness,
right, which is Israel, when he goes off, go ahead,
and committeth an iniquity, he shall even die thereby. But if the wicked turn from his wickedness and do that which is lawful.
All right, there you get emotional because you don't understand the scriptures. You don't have a foundation. Automatically, you think about Esau. It's talking about wicked Israelites. Go ahead.
But if the wicked turn from his wickedness and do that which is lawful and right, he shall live thereby. Yet you say the way of the Lord is not equal, O ye house of Israel. I will judge you every one after his ways.
Okay.
You want the 15th verse?
Yeah, get the 15th verse.
Ezekiel 33:15. If the wicked restore the pledge, give again that he had.
What chapter are you in?
33rd chapter, Ezekiel 33.
Okay. That was good. That's good. That's good.
Or did you want the 18th chapter?
Give me the 18th chapter. I'm sorry, the 18th chapter, which goes into it deeper. That kind of touched on it, but all right, go ahead.
Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 24. But when the righteous turneth away from his righteousness, and committeth iniquity, and doeth according to all the abominations that the wicked man doeth, shall he live? All his righteousness that he hath done shall not be mentioned. And his trespass.
Yeah, so guys that was in the truth, like Lahab and other guys that fell off and went back into the world, I don't give a damn you put 20 years in. When you go back, when you turn your back on this thing, all that 20 years that you did don't amount to nothing. Go ahead.
In his trespass that he hath trespassed, and in his sin that he hath sinned, and them shall he die.
Right, in them shall he die. Okay, so we do what we got to do. Then the blood is off of our hands. All right? All right, go ahead.
Back in Ezekiel 2:6. And thou, son of man, be not afraid of them, neither be afraid of their words, though briars and thorns be with thee, and thou dwell among scorpions. Be not afraid of their words, nor be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. And thou shalt speak my words unto them, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are most rebellious. But thou, son of man, hear what I say unto thee. Be not thou rebellious like that rebellious house. Open thy mouth and eat that I give thee. And
Right. Open thy mouth and eat that I give thee. Go to the blue letter. Look up the word eat. Now, what are we supposed to eat? It said in the first verse, in the beginning, it said, go out and teach the nation of Israel, right? Now it's saying to eat something, okay? Now let's look up the word eat.
Yeah, we're in the Hebrew for Ezekiel 2:8. We're going to look up the word eat in the Hebrew. The word there is akal. In the Hebrew, it means to eat, devour, burn up, feed, to eat, devour, to be eaten, to cause to eat, feed with, consume, which happens to be the name of the title of the lesson.
Let me say something on that. The word consume means to clean the plate. You know, you got a person that haven't ate in 5 days. They're stuck in the woods, and you give them a plate of food. They're not gonna say grace or pray over it. They're not even gonna use a fork and a knife. They're gonna grab their hands. They're gonna stuff it down their plate, and then they're gonna clean the plate. Then they're gonna probably ask for more. So that's the attitude you're supposed to take with these scriptures. The scriptures, the word is like a plate of food, and you're supposed to clean that plate. You ain't supposed to say, well, I don't like the spinach, or I don't like this. No, I don't want pickles. At the end of the meal, you got pickles on the side and maybe some little rice. You're supposed to clean that whole plate. So the scriptures, that's the whole plate. So you have to get the full understanding. That's why you got guys out there breaking the scriptures down the wrong way. All right? Go ahead.
Yeah, reading on to. Yeah, pretty much. Okay. To eat, devour, feed. To eat, devour, devour. It's pretty much repetitious. To devour, to be eaten, to be devoured, consumed of fire, to be wasted, destroyed, to cause to eat, feed with, to cause to devour, to feed, to cause to eat, consume. Down here it says to eat, to devour. There was a part I had seen here. To be consumed by fire, by the sword. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, one of the words that come up too is squander. Now, if you look up the word squander, let's say I give somebody $1 million. I said, here's $1 million, and I want you to squander it. You know what that means? That means when you come back, you ain't going to have a penny left. That means you take the whole thing. So this word, you got to consume this whole word. You got to devour this whole word. You got to take this whole word in. All right? You can't pick and choose what you're going to take, of this word. Go ahead.
I don't know if you have this on it. This is Proverbs chapter 9, verse 1. Wisdom hath builded her house. She hath hewn out her 7 pillars. She hath killed her beasts, and hath mingled her wine. She hath also furnished her table. Sent forth her maidens, she crieth upon the highest places of the city. Whoso is simple, let him turn in hither. As for him that wanteth understanding, she saith to him, Come, eat of my bread, and drink of the wine which I have mingled.
That's that word. That's that word. All right? You got something.
Yeah, reading on, I found a little tidbit. It says, to eat anyone's words is to receive them eagerly. I'll read it again. To eat anyone's words is to receive them eagerly. Reading again, and you'll see it. It says, to eat anyone's words is to receive them eagerly.
Right, that's a key word, to receive it, to receive them eagerly, to be eager about these scriptures, all right? Go ahead.
Songs of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 1. O thou that wert as, O that thou wert as my brother, that sucked the breast of my mother, when I should find thee without.
Solomon's mother, spiritually, is wisdom. That's what he prayed for. Where do you get the wisdom from? Through these scriptures. Go ahead.
When I should find thee without, I would kiss thee.
If you don't have the knowledge, when he says, I shall kiss thee, it means I'm going to use my mouth to bring these words to you, to bring you around to these scriptures. Go ahead.
Yea, I should not be despised.
Yeah, I shouldn't, you should, I'm not into that. I'm a Muslim. Basically, you shouldn't be despised because you're giving them the truth. And you brothers in the different camps, in the different states, in the different countries, I'm positive you ran into this situation many a times where you try to wake Jacob and they'll damn near want to fight you. So now this thing is closing, man. Now this word is closing down. Because when they close down that internet, these people that are half-assed are going to be looking to go and watch a video, a GMS video or whatever to find out what's going on, current events. You ain't going to find it, man. This society's getting ready to close down, man. And the ones of you that didn't get yourself right and the ones of you that are not a part of the elect, the missiles are going to get you. Go ahead.
It says, I would lead thee and bring thee into my mother's house, who would instruct me. I would cause thee to drink of spiced wine.
What is the spiced wine? This word. Go ahead.
I would cause thee to drink of spiced wine of the juice of my pomegranate. His left hand should be under my head, and his right hand should embrace me. I charge you, O daughters of Jerusalem, that you stir not up, nor awake my love until he please. Who is this that cometh up from the wilderness, leaning upon her beloved? I raised thee up under the apple tree. There thy mother brought thee forth. There she brought thee forth that bare thee.
Yeah, now let's go back to where you left off. Did you finish that in Proverbs? Go ahead.
It says, Proverbs chapter 9, verse 3. She hath set forth her maidens. She crieth upon the highest places of the city. Whoso is simple, let him turn in hither. As for him that wanteth understanding, she saith unto him, Come, eat of my bread, and drink of the wine which I have mingled. Forsake the foolish and live, and go in the way of understanding.
Forsake the foolish and live. What does it mean to be foolish? To follow Islam, to follow the Mormons, to follow the Jehovah Witness, to follow the Roman Catholicism, to follow the democratic way of life, to have your mind into the American system. Go ahead.
He that reproveth the scorner getteth to himself shame, and he that rebuketh the wicked man getteth himself a blot. Reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee. Give instruction to a wise man, and he will be yet wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding.
Yeah, now let's go back to where we left off in Ezekiel, the 2nd chapter.
Ezekiel chapter 2, verse 8. But thou, son of man, hear what I say unto thee. Be not thou rebellious like that rebellious house. Open thy mouth and eat that I give thee. And when I looked, behold, an hand was sent unto me. And lo, a roll of a book was therein. And he spread it before me. And it was written within and without. And there was written therein lamentations and mourning and woe.
Yeah, lamentations and mourning and woe. You know, when you read the book of Revelation, when you read the book of Daniel, when you read about this destruction that's going to come down, that's the lamentation and woe. Read that again. Read like a verse up above that.
Verse 9. And when I looked, behold, an hand was sent unto me. And lo, a roll of a book was therein.
Yeah, I wanted that because at one time you would go up and you would go through the scriptures with a dude, and then you would say the roll of the book. No, brother, that's the Quran. You know, that's the Egyptian book of the dead. You know, I know that because I got another book that breaks it down. You can't deal with a guy like that, especially that's the Kibra Negas. Especially in 2011, man. He ain't gonna make it. He's not gonna make it, man. All right, now let's go to the next. We finished that. Go to the next chapter. Start from the top.
Ezekiel 3:1. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest. Eat this roll and go and speak unto the house of Israel.
You notice that order, and I said this a couple times before. The scriptures say eat. Now we looked up the word. We looked up the word eat in the blue letter. The word is from the Hebrew akal, all right, which means to eat. Now when you go into the word, it means to consume, to devour. You know, to consume, to squander, to waste. In other words, eat it like you got a plate of food. Eat it all up. Clean your plate totally. Don't leave a pea left, a grain of rice left. If there's gravy on there, lick the gravy off that plate. That's what it means. And you got guys that get a handful of scriptures together, and then they got it. Now they're going to go out and call themselves teaching Israel. Read that again.
Moreover, he saith unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest. Eat this roll and go and speak unto the house of Israel.
And go and speak unto the house of Israel. Go ahead.
And I opened my mouth, and so I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll. And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness.
Now, read that again about the belly.
It says, and he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I...
When you fill your bowels with it, after a while, you bring out the waste. When you go to the bathroom, the nourishment stays in you and the waste goes out of you, right? So now let's look up the word belly.
Okay, we're going to look up the word belly in the Hebrew. The word there is batak. Yeah, batak, which means belly, womb, body, belly, abdomen, as seat of hunger, as
seat of hunger. You eat when you're hungry. So you don't have this truth, and then you're looking for the truth, and then you find this, and as soon as you find it, oh, that's what I've been looking for, then you eat it up. You fill your belly with it until you're full, until you're satisfied, okay? Go ahead.
I believe there's a correction on there. I believe the word is batan, all right, batan, which means belly, womb, body, belly, abdomen, as seat of hunger, as seat of mental faculties, of depth of Sheol.
Right, depth of soul. Let's just say soul, right? Soul. Okay, of depth of Sheol. In other words, it basically you're feeding this into your belly, but your belly is really your mind. That's why it said mental faculties. Now, what did it say in the second chapter? It said eat all of it, right? All right, go ahead.
Reading on, it says, the belly, so called as being hollow and empty. Right, like Elder Tahar said, you know, it's hollow and empty because, you know, when you first come to the truth, your mind is hollow and empty. You don't have the truth. It says the inside, innermost part of anything. That's pretty much it.
Okay, go ahead. Read on.
All right, so this is back in Ezekiel 3:3. And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness. And he said unto me, Son of man, go get thee unto the house of Israel, and speak with my words unto them. For thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech and in hard language, but to the house of Israel.
Yeah, now, you know what that means? How many Jakes do you know can speak Cantonese? Give me one Jake that can speak fluent Cantonese. Because if this word is for all the nations, it said that we're gonna speak the words to him, right? Ain't no Jake out there can speak Cantonese, man. So this ain't for the other nations. If it's not for Moab, it ain't for Edom. Go ahead.
So not to many people of a strange speech and of an hard language, whose words thou canst not understand. Surely had I sent thee to them, they would have hearkened unto thee. But the house of Israel will not hearken unto thee, for they will not hearken unto me. For all the house of Israel are impudent and hard-hearted. Behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces, and thy forehead is strong against their foreheads. As an adamant harder than flint have I made thy forehead. Fear them not, neither be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, all my words that I shall speak unto thee, receive in thine heart, and hear with thine ears, and go get thee to them of the captivity, and unto the children of thy people, and speak unto them.
Aren't we in captivity? You got niggas that are so bugged out of their mind, they think they're free. That's why they join the military. That's why they marry Edomites. Go ahead.
And speak unto them, and tell them, thus saith the Lord power, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear. Then the Spirit took me up, and I heard behind me a voice of a great rushing, saying, Blessed be the glory of the Lord from his place. I heard also the noise of the wings of the living creatures that touch one another, and the noise of the wheels over against them, and the noise of a great rushing. So the Spirit lifted me up and took me away, and I went in bitterness in the heat of my spirit. But the hand of the Lord was strong upon me. Then I came to them of the captivity at Tel Abib, and dwelt by the river of Kibar, and I sat where they sat, and remained there astonished among them 7 days. And it came to pass at the end of 7 days that the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word at my mouth, and give them warning from me.
And that's it. That's it. That's what you're supposed to do. Learn his word, digest his word, then go out and teach who? The nation of Israel. Now go from there to the book of Jeremiah, the 3rd chapter and the 15th verse. Go ahead.
Jeremiah chapter 3 verse 15. And I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding.
And that's us. We're feeding you with knowledge and understanding. You can see them camps in the different states and the different countries, how they breaking down that word. You've seen a lot of guys outside of GMS. You still got guys out there still teaching the word that's not down with GMS, but a lot of those guys kind of came in and they started teaching maybe 6 months, a year, maybe a year and a half. Then they either into something else or they just don't do this no more. So those you know that those are not men of the Lord. All right.
Yeah, even when Yahushua was cursing out the Pharisees and them, there were certain people that were among them that believed. And Yahushua said, he said, if you continue in my word, then are you my disciples indeed.
That's right. Now that was it on that, right? Now let's go from there to Isaiah, the 49th chapter, the 1st verse, and we're going to read down. All right, go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 49, verse 1. Listen, O isles, unto me, and hearken, ye people from far. The Lord hath called me from the womb, from the bowels of my mother hath he made mention of my name. And he hath made my mouth like a sharp sword, and the shadow of his hand hath he hid me, and made me a polished shaft, and his quiver hath he hid me. And said unto me, Thou art my servant, O Israel, in whom I will be glorified. Then I said, I have labored in vain, I have spent my strength for naught, and in vain, yet surely my judgment is with the Lord, and my work with my power. And now saith the Lord that formed me from the womb to be his servant, to bring Jacob again to him. Though Israel be not gathered, yet shall I be glorious in the eyes of the Lord, and my power shall be my strength. And he said, It is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant, to raise up the tribes of Jacob, and to restore the preserved of Israel.
You see it said in Ezekiel, go eat this word and go out and preach to the children of Israel. Now it's saying the sons of Jacob, which is another word for Israel. So it keeps talking about the nation of Israel. Go ahead.
And to restore the preserved of Israel, which are the elect. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation.
There goes a simple-minded nigga with no foundation. Here comes Esau and Moab and all these other nations. If they really got deep into the word, they would know that the word Gentile applies to actual nations, but right here, in the right context, it applies to the Israelites that are far off. Go ahead.
I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth.
Yeah, because why? Because aren't we scattered? Get me James 12, was that James I'm sorry, James 1 and 1. James 1 and 1. Go ahead.
James chapter 1, verse 1. James, a servant of the Most High and of the Lord Yahushai, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting.
They're scattered literally all over the planet Earth. Literally. All right? Now let's go back to where we left off. You got something, Mark? All right, go ahead.
This is back in Isaiah 49 and 6. And he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the preserved of Israel. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth. Thus saith the Lord.
Because where did Israel started? They became a nation in captivity, in the so-called Egyptian captivity. And then now we're all the way on the other side of the world, on the end of the earth. The end of the, when you go from the east, as far as you can go, as far as you go to the west, and that's where we are, on the end of the earth. That's where Israel is. Go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord, the Redeemer of Israel and his Holy One, to him whom man despiseth, to him whom the nation abhorreth, to a servant of rulers, kings shall see and arise, princes also shall worship, because of the Lord that is faithful and the Holy One of Israel, and he shall choose thee. Thus saith the Lord, in an acceptable time have I heard thee, and in a day of salvation have I helped thee. And I will preserve thee and give thee for a covenant of the people to establish the earth, to cause to inherit the desolate heritages.
That's the kingdom of heaven, which is going to be on the planet earth. Go ahead.
That thou mayest say to the prisoners, go forth. To them that are in darkness, show yourselves. They shall feed in the ways, and their pastures shall be in all high places. They shall not hunger nor thirst, neither shall the heat nor sun smite them. For he that have mercy on them shall lead them, even by the springs of water shall he guide them. And I will make all my mountains a way, and my highways shall be exalted. Behold, these shall come from far, and lo, these from the north, and from the west, and these from the land of Sinim.
In other words, we're scattered all over the planet Earth. That's why we were called Gentiles. All right, you got something?
To back up Elder Tar, because he said we're scattered from the east to the west, which is the other end of the earth. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
Yeah, the wood and stone is talking about the mosque that you go to, the church, the different churches, the Roman Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church's daughters, like the Baptists, the Methodists, the Jehovah's Witness, the Mormons, the Seventh-day Adventists. They all stem from the Roman Catholic Church, the so-called mother church, mother harlot church, I would say. Because how do we know that? Because they have the same so-called Christ, Caesar Borgia. It's the same guy. But then they're going to tell you they're not Roman Catholic. You Roman Catholic. All right? Now let's go from there to the book of Baruch in the Apocrypha, the fourth chapter, and we're going to start from the top, and we're going to read 5 verses. All right, go ahead.
Baruch 4 verse 1. This is the book of the commandments of the Most High, and the law that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life.
Right, all they that keep this book. When Baruch says this book, it's talking about the script, all the scriptures. It's talking about the Bible, and it's talking about the Apocrypha, which is originally a part of the Bible. All right, read that again.
It says, this is the book of the commandments of the Most High, and the law that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die.
So the ones of you that came into this truth and you went back into the world, you're going to die. That's blunt. All that shall leave it shall die. Didn't say you're going to have a second chance. You know, if you do this, then the door, you know, if you know this combination, or if you do this or you do that, you're going to get, no. It said all that leave it shall die. Okay? What verse is that?
That was verse 1.
Go ahead.
Turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it. Walk.
There it goes again. Turn thee, O Jacob. This is for Jacob. Go ahead.
Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated.
That thou mayest be. That's why the Rothschilds use that word illuminated, because they really want to be us. We're the real illuminated ones. Go ahead.
Give not thine honor to another.
Give not thy honor to another. That means don't give it to anybody except the nation of Israel. And really, among Israel, the only ones that's supposed to get it are the elect. We're not out there trying to raise up all of Israel. Our job is to preach this word to Israel that the elect might come in. Go ahead.
Nor the things that are profitable unto thee to a strange nation.
Now, how to a strange nation? Read that again.
Give not thine honor to another, nor the things that are profitable.
That's why that guy, the Absolute Truth, which we call, his nickname we gave him was Super Grover, and what's the other guy? He been off YouTube for so long. False Prophet 666. If you notice, now we done got all kind of sites cut on us, man, left and right, man. All kind of sites were deleted. One time they got deleted, I think they put up another thing. Then they just got nervous, and now they're on SkyTube, or they're out of there. They're not even on YouTube no more. It's like they don't even exist anymore. I read that again.
Give not thine honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto thee to a strange nation. O Israel, happy are we, for things that are pleasing to the Most High are made known unto us.
What? Read that. What? Read that again.
O Israel, happy are we, for things that are pleasing to the Most High are made known unto us.
Are made known unto us, not other nations. Go ahead.
Verse 5, be of good cheer, my people, the memorial of Israel.
Now, let's go from there to St. John, the 10th chapter, the first verse, and we're going to read a couple of verses down, and we're going to jump from there to St. John, the 7th chapter, the 36th verse to the 43rd verse. So we're going to St. John, the 10th chapter, and the first verse.
St. John, chapter 10, verse 1. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber.
Basically, you trying to get the truth. See, you're not going to the foundation. One of the foundations to start this book is Ezekiel, the 2nd chapter, Ezekiel, the 3rd chapter. You don't have to start there. You can start from, but that's a good place to start, because that tells you that you got to eat this book. You got to consume this book. Then once you consume this book, then go out and teach the children of Israel. All right? Read that again.
Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold.
In other words, if you try to eat just the Old Testament, that ain't working. If you say, I'm just going to deal with the New Testament, because your grandmother told you that the Old Testament was done away with, well, the Most High ain't dealing with you. If you say you deal with the whole book, but you don't deal with the law, then the Lord ain't dealing with you. Go ahead.
Right. If I may say this other time. Yeah, and then when you go back during the time when this thing first got started with Abba Bivens, all them contemporaries around him, they only dealt with the Old Testament. They didn't deal with the New Testament. He was the only one that started dealing with both the Old and the New Testament, because you have to have both in order to have the full truth. All right, this is back in John 10 and 2. But he that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. To him the porter openeth, and the sheep hear his voice. And he calleth his own sheep by name, and leadeth them out. And when he putteth forth his own sheep, he goeth before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. And a stranger will they not follow, but will flee from him, for they know not the voice of strangers. This parable spake Yahushua unto them, but they understood not what things they...
Like Jeremiah, he's not of the elect, unless the Most High show different. For him to get with Adiala on that crap about the Joseph and Mary never having sex, that means he tried to follow the voice, but he's following another voice. He's following this guy Adiala, which is a stranger. All right, go ahead.
This parable spake Yahushua unto them, but they understood not what things they were which he spake unto them.
Yeah, so the Lord mostly spoke in parables. and it went over a lot of people's heads. In this case, it went over Israel's head. Go ahead.
Then said Yahushua unto them again, Verily, verily, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep. Con. All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them. I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out, and find pasture. The thief cometh not, but for to steal, and to kill, and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they may have it more abundantly. I am the good shepherd, the good sheep. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. But he that is an hireling, and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, seeth the wolf coming, and leaveth the sheep, and fleeth, and the wolf catcheth them, and scattereth the sheep.
Right, a good example of that is, like, you got guys that say, well, I don't deal with the Illuminati and them secret, organizations, those hidden organizations, conspiracy groups. Well, if you don't understand that, then you don't know how to link up Revelation, the 13th chapter, the 15th verse on down, with the mark of the beast, which is the chip. You got guys, I'm going to name a key name, Nathaniel 7, Nate Satan as we call him. He's set on the mark of the beast is talking about sin. So he's like a hireling, man. So when the chip comes, a lot of the people that follow him, they're going to take that chip because they're going to say, well, that has nothing to do with Revelation, the 13th chapter. Going back to Ezekiel, the first chapter, the second chapter, and the third chapter, eat this book, consume this book, eat ye all of it, then go out and teach the children of Israel. Go ahead.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 5, verse 15. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small.
That's a good point. Read on.
Back in St. John chapter 10, verse 13. The hireling fleeth because he is an hireling, and careth not for the sheep. I am the good shepherd, and know my sheep, and am known of mine. As the Father knoweth me, even so know I the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. And other sheep I have which are not of this fold, them also must...
There goes the simplicity again. See, that's talking about the other nations, right? Go ahead, read that again.
And other sheep I have which are not of this fold, them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd.
Yes, they should come together as one nation. Because what did you have in Israel? When you go back to approximately 700 years BC, you had a split in Israel. Well, actually before that, but you had Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. They were taken captive by the Babylonians, the ancient Babylonians, and then the rest of the tribes, they were taken captive by the Assyrians. All right, a king, one of the king's name, king's name was Shalmaneser. All right, and what they did was they said, look, we got to get out of here and we got to go to another place. So they went all the way over here to the west, which the term in the Apocrypha is, I believe it's Osiris, which means a new region. And that's talking about America, okay? Go ahead.
Therefore doth my Father love me, because I lay down my life that I might take it again. No man taketh it from me, but I lay it down of myself. I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it again. This commandment have I received of my Father.
Yeah, now let's go to St. John, the 7th chapter, the 36th verse to the 43rd verse.
St. John 7, verse 36. What manner of saying is this that he said, You shall seek me and shall not find me, and where I am, thither you cannot come.
Yeah, he went over their head again, because it wasn't meant for every Israelite to get this. Go ahead.
In the last day, that great day of the feast, Yahushua stood and cried unto me, and drink. He that believeth on me.
Right. Let him come unto me and drink. How do you come unto him now? Through this word. That's why he said what he said in Psalm, the 40th chapter, in the 7th verse. Lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is spoken of me, or it is written of me. And then he was known as the Word in St. John, the 1st chapter. Go ahead.
If any man thirst, let him come unto me and drink. He that believeth on me, as the scripture hath said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water.
Right. So the ones that believe in the Lord, out of their belly shall flow rivers of living water. This thing is going to keep on flowing. That's like I said earlier. You got guys out there that saw us or saw other camps on YouTube and said, well, let me get back. Most of them guys we know. They're from the old school. We call them 1992 Israelites. They seen us getting some kind of fame. So they said, well, I know the scriptures just as well as they do. And then they go out there for maybe 6 months. And then all of a sudden they might close their account, or they might leave their account open. But if you happen to go to their account, the last time they put up a video or was active on that account might have been a year ago. Go ahead.
But this spake he of the Spirit, which they that believe on him should receive. For the Holy Spirit was not yet given, because that Yahweh...
Oh, read that again. Read that again. Because the Holy Spirit is a comforter, right? Go ahead.
But this spake he of the Spirit, which they that believe on him should receive. For the Holy Spirit was not yet given, because that Yahushua was not yet glorified.
So when was the Holy Spirit given? After the Lord was glorified, man. So does that mean this clown Tazadakia, all of a sudden he popped up out of man? I'm the comforter. You know? The comforter is here. No, when did they receive that spirit? They received that spirit in Acts, the 2nd chapter. During the time of Pentecost. Which you had the Passover, then you had the Feast of Weeks, which represent, 50 days? 49 days into the 50th day. That's when they received the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, or the Comforter. All right, go ahead.
Many of the people, therefore, when they heard this saying, said, of a truth, this is the prophet. Others said, this is the anointed. But some said, shall the anointed come out of Galilee? Hath not the scripture said that Yahushua cometh of the seed of David?
So that was what? A stumbling block to them, because they didn't, if they did some but they were looking to say he's not the Messiah. Because they said, look, this guy came out of Galilee. And some of them knew that he came from Nazareth, but they didn't know that he was actually born in, it didn't say he was going to live in Bethlehem. It said this prophecy said he's going to be born in Bethlehem, but then he's going to come up in, among the Nazareth, where he didn't perform that many miracles because the people knew him. But his ministry basically came out of Galilee, right? So it also says that wasn't he born out of the line of David? Read it again.
Hath not the scripture said that the anointed cometh of the seed of David and out of the town of Bethlehem?
Did he come out of the town of Bethlehem? Yes, he did. Was he of the seed of David? Yes, he was. Had he come out of the line of David? Through Joseph, because Joseph had sex with Mary. All right, go ahead.
Where David was. So there was verse 43. So there was a division among the people because of him.
There was a division among the people. Some said one thing, the other said the other things. The one that got it right, the ones that got it right are what? The elect. The apostles, Peter, John, James, Bartholomew, Matthew, Jude, and the other apostles, the other disciples, Nicodemus, Joseph of Arimathea, and many others. They got it. The rest of them, they were all messed up. Go ahead.
It says, and some of them would have taken him, but no man laid hands on him.
Yeah, now let's go from there to Romans, the 16th chapter, the 17th verse, the 17 and the 18th verse. Go ahead.
Romans 16 and 17. Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause division and offenses contrary to...
Now, didn't we just read in John 7, there was division among them? Yep. So you, just like today, like back then, just like today, you have guys that are bringing divisions by teaching that Esau can make it, you know, that Cornelius is an Edomite. That you don't have the very chip is not the mark of the beast in Revelation the 13th chapter. And there's other doctrines out there. Go ahead.
It says, Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which you have learned, and avoid them. For they that are such serve not our Lord Yahushai, but their own belly, and by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple.
Right, they're all about their own belly, right? Now, this is what you're supposed to do with a guy that's all about his own belly. To read again, the key point.
It says, verse 18, for they that are such serve not our Lord Yahushai, but their own belly.
Yeah, but their own belly, their own self. It's all about them, you know? Now, give me Proverbs, the 20th chapter and the 30th verse. And this is what you're supposed to do. Ultimately, this is what's going to happen to a guy that does this. He's all about his own self. Go ahead.
Proverbs chapter 20, verse 30. The blueness of a wound cleanseth away evil. So do stripes the inward parts of the belly.
So do stripes the inward parts of the belly. Like Comfy, he's going to get stripes. And the rest of them guys, they're going to get stripes, man. You know, whatever you getting, also get me Luke, the 12th chapter, the 43rd verse to the 48th verse. Go ahead.
Luke chapter 12, verse 43. Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. Of a truth I say unto you that...
When the Lord come, what we're doing right now, the scriptures say, blessed is that man that does what we do, pushing this word out. Going back to Ezekiel, the 2nd chapter and the 3rd chapter, eat this word, consume this word, then go out and teach the children of Israel. Go ahead.
Of a truth I say unto you, that he will make him ruler over all that he hath. But, and if that servant say...
That means we're going to be sitting on thrones in the kingdom. Go ahead.
But, and if that servant say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, and shall begin to beat the men servants and maidens...
Oh, Batak did that. He found out he had guys doing push-ups, man. If you didn't break a scripture down the right way, you had to do 200 push-ups or whatever the amount is. That's what I heard. All right? So that's why you're out of there. That's why the door is closed to you. Go ahead.
And if that servant say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, and shall begin to beat the men servants and maidens, and to eat and drink, and to be drunken, the Lord of that servant will come in a day when he looketh not for him, and at an hour when he is not aware, and will cut him in sunder, and will appoint him his portion with the unbelievers. And that servant which knew his Lord's will, and
you got a lot of them out there, man. Lahab, Yeshaya, Gazak. You got a lot of those guys that's still walking around, that's still in New York or wherever they are in this country, that was into the truth and they no longer teaching. The proof of that is that they're not on YouTube. Oh, you don't have to be on YouTube. But you know what? Ain't nobody said, I saw Gazak on, he got a camp in Brooklyn. Them guys ain't out there no more. They back in the world, man. Go ahead.
And that servant which knew his Lord's will and prepared not himself, neither did according to his will, shall be beaten with many stripes. But he that knew not and did commit things worthy, verse 48. But he that knew not and did commit things worthy of stripes shall be beaten with few stripes. For unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall be much required, and unto whom men have committed much, of him they will ask the more.
Now, let's go from there to the book of 1 Corinthians, the 5th chapter, the 6th verse to the 13th verse. Because you have to take that attitude. You have to know who the man of the Lord is compared to an imposter. And if you got guys in your camp that's just not doing the right thing, eventually either he going to fall off or you got to put him out. And like I said, there's not just guys falling off, but there's guys that's actually being put out of camps. All right, go ahead.
This is our 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 6. Your glorying is not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump? Purge out therefore the old leaven, that you may be a new lump, as you are unleavened. For even Yahushua our Passover is sacrificed for us. Therefore let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. I wrote unto you in an epistle not to company with fornicators, yet not all.
Now, for the word fornicator, not talking about having sex with another man's wife in this case. It's talking about spiritual fornication. In other words, you have doctrines that are not of these scriptures. And you can't say, well, I didn't understand. No, go back to Ezekiel, the 2nd chapter, Ezekiel, the 3rd chapter. You're supposed to eat the whole word. All right, go ahead.
It says, I wrote unto you in an epistle not to company with fornicators, yet not altogether with the fornicators of this world, and with the covetous or extortioners, or with idolaters. For then must you needs go out of the world. But now I have written unto you not to keep company, if any man that is called a brother be a fornicator, or covetous, or an idolater, or a railer, or a drunkard, or an extortioner, with such an one know not to eat. For what have I to do to judge them also that are without? Do not you judge them that are within, but them that are without the Most High judgeth. Therefore put away from among yourselves that wicked person.
And that's playing. That's talking about Israel, that wicked person. That's referring to an Israelite that's wicked. All right. Now let's go from there to the book of 2 Timothy's, the 3rd chapter, the 1st verse to the 9th verse. 2 Timothy's, the 3rd chapter, the 1st verse to the 9th verse.
2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1. This also know that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of the Most High.
That's why you got a lot of these groups that are selling out, because they love pleasure, man. Get that suitcase of money, whether it be $1 million or $30 million. You can do a lot of things, and then when you have that type of money, I don't give a damn what you look like. You can get a Bentley or whatever, and you can get all kind of goodies. Guess what comes with it? Them fine ass women. All of a sudden, you the cutest guy in the world. Go ahead.
Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away.
Right. Having a form of godliness. You might be out there saying that we out here to teach the 12 tribes of Israel, and you might even say the society's going down in a thermonuclear war, but you got to get the whole thing. You got to get the whole thing. Go ahead.
It says, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. For of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women laden with sins, led away with...
Right, that's the key. A guy that has a whole lot of women in his congregation, this is Paul speaking. All right? You can't apply the scripture to us because we don't have no women in our congregation. If you have your wife on the side, that's it. You deal with your wife. If you want to teach your wife something, that's fine. That's on you. Okay? So you can't apply the scripture to us. Go ahead.
It says, for of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women laden with sins.
Because let's just come straight. Women are silly, man. They're like big kids. There's nothing deep about women. Go ahead. Like the guy Super Grover, that stupid idiot, that jerk off, that black jerk off. He's going to get that thing about Job being an Edomite and run with it. And he tells you in the video that it was a sister that gave it to him. You're a damn idiot, man. That's why nobody sees you no more. Go ahead.
And lead captive silly women laden with sins, led away with divers lusts, ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Now as Jannes and Jambres withstood Moses, so do these also resist the truth. Men of corrupt minds.
Yeah, you got Israelites out there of corrupt minds. Go ahead.
Reprobate concerning the faith. Verse 9. But they shall proceed no further, for their folly shall be manifest unto all men, as theirs also was.
In other words, before the Most High shows himself, the other day, I think it was yesterday, and I got the video, over Italy.
Rumors have gone wild as
There was this
mountain dew
bright
as so
star that
many
they
look
couldn't
for
explain
signs of change.
that came
I'm
down
sure what has happened in Egypt
over
must
Italy.
weigh heavy on people's minds.
Like, and then you see what's happening over there in Egypt.
With science
They just
feverishly
pushed
trying
that
to
guy
catch up with the
Mubarak
enormous
out of there.
amount of data
All
pouring
right.
through from recent
Now they got a
space
military.
missions
Now
such
you
as
got a military
Wise,
rule.
Harshal,
They
and
said do
others.
away with the
It is indeed a
Constitution. So
time of
basically,
wonder.
you have martial law over there.
New data
The
flooding.
military runs that, and the top brass of the military, they constantly going to D.C. So what that mean? You constantly going to D.C. Most of your weapons come from the U.S. The tear gas canisters said made in the USA or made in America. All right, you're getting almost $2 billion a year. So whose takeover was that? Who took that place down? It was the U.S. Go ahead.
This is Proverbs chapter 22, verse 10. Cast out the scorner, and contention shall go out. Yea, strife and reproach shall cease.
Now go from there to the book of Titus, the 3rd chapter, the 8th verse, the 11th verse, and get the blue letter ready. Because the Most High is not going to give us parts of this truth, and then some guy come from out of nowhere and said, oh, you breaking this wrong, breaking this down wrong, you breaking that down wrong. It don't work like that. Go ahead.
Titus chapter 3, verse 8. This is a faithful saying, and these things I will that thou affirm constantly, that they which have believed in the Most High might be careful to maintain good works. These things are good and profitable unto men, but avoid foolish questions and genealogies and contention.
And that right there, we gotta bring that scripture out a lot more. You got guys asking stupid ass, off the wall, dumbass questions. Like there's a saying, there's no such thing as a stupid question. Yes, there is. Read again.
But avoid foolish questions and genealogies and contentions and
Like the young guy from out there in the West, they kicked him out the camp because he committed adultery. Well, you know what he was saying about a year ago? The Spirit came to me. He was saying that the Spirit showed him that he was Joshua. So I said, when I heard that, man, I said, this guy, he ain't gonna last too long. You know? He ain't gonna make it. And he's out of there. And he was young to begin with. All right, go ahead.
But avoid foolish questions and genealogies and contentions and striving about the law, for they are unprofitable and vain. A man that is an heretic after the first and second admonition reject.
Reject means to put him out. Get out of here. Now let's look up the word heretic.
Okay, we're going to look up the word heretic in the Bible. The word there in the Greek is
Strong's G 141, heretikos, heretikos.
which means fitted or able to take or choose a thing, schismatic, factious, a follower of false doctrine, heretic. Down here, fitted or able to take or choose a thing, schismatic, factious, a follower of false doctrine.
Yeah, so when you book up and say, no, you're going off, and I see it this way, it says, admonished, read again in the scriptures.
It says, a man that is an heretic after the first and second admonition reject.
Yeah, if they're a heretic after the first and second admonition, the word admonition means stiff warning. Look, don't do it again. You're going off. He comes back again. One. It ain't like baseball. 3 strikes and you're out. With the scriptures, it's sometimes 1 strike, sometimes it's 2 strikes. In this case, it's 2 strikes. After the 2 strikes. After the first and second admonition, reject. Reject means to push him out. You out of here. We coming down to the wire. Things are going to get serious. All right, go ahead.
Knowing that he that is such is subverted and sinneth, being condemned of himself.
Look up the word subverted. Subverted. Go ahead.
The Greek word for subverted
Strong's G 1612, extrafo. Extrafo.
Which means to turn or twist out, tear up, to turn inside out, invert, to change for the worse, pervert, corrupt. It says to turn, to turn or twist out, tear up, to turn inside out, invert, to change for the worse, pervert, corrupt. And down here it says to turn or twist out, tear up, turn inside out, change for the worse, pervert, corrupt.
So you novices that come up in here talking about, oh, I'm gonna break down Daniel 11 chapter the right way. Well, you tore up them scriptures, the word that you got. You tore them up, you turned them inside out, you twisted them. Now you out there thinking about going up to the damn top of the damn Sears tower and doing a swan dive, you know, off of it. Go ahead.
This is 2 Timothy 3 and 13. But
Yeah, somebody said, who was it that I shouldn't have said that about Patak? Well, the Lord said in Matthew, it'd be better than a millstone be tied around your neck and you be thrown into the bottom of the sea. That was maybe you should have said, well, the Lord shouldn't have said that. Go ahead. Because if you don't jump off, man, the missiles are gonna get you anyway. You know, because you ain't planning on going to leave to Africa. All right, you ain't planning to leave the country. You just gonna the Most High preserve. You gonna have your ass here when the missiles come. There's a missile with your name on it, man. Go ahead.
2 Timothy 3 and 13. But evil men.
See, we're coming to the harsh part of the truth. We're coming to the bitter part of the truth. See, you had the sweet part for the last 3 years. Now it's coming to the harsh and bitter part. Go ahead. Reality is setting in now. Go ahead.
2 Timothy 3 and 13. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived.
That's right. Now, we just read, okay, now let's go from there to 1 Corinthians, the 10th chapter. We're going to start from the top. The key point is around about the 11, 12 verse, but start from the top and read quick.
1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 1. Moreover, brethren, I would not that you should be ignorant, how that all our fathers were under the cloud, and all passed through the sea, and were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea, and did all eat the same spiritual meat, and did all drink the same spiritual drink. For they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Yahushai. But with many of them the Most High was not well pleased, for they were overthrown in the wilderness. Now these things were...
Yeah, the Most High delivered you to the wilderness to destroy a lot of his own people. Go ahead.
Now these things were our examples, to the intent we should not lust after evil things, as they also lusted. Neither be ye idolaters, as were some of them, as it is written, the people sat down to eat and drink, and rose up to play. Neither let us commit fornication, as some of them committed, and fell in one day 23,000. Neither let us tempt Yahushai, as some of them also tempted, and were destroyed of serpents. Neither murmured ye, as some of them also murmured, and were destroyed of the destroyer.
You got a lot of murmuring today among when the Facebook account, the order was given not to close your account. You had people murmuring, man. So the Most High is going to get rid of you. Go ahead.
Now all these things happen unto, verse 11. Now all these things happen unto them for examples, and they are written.
So you have examples now. The reason, Paul said, the reason why those things happened back during the time of us leaving out of Egypt, and they were getting jacked up, and said at one point 23,000 the Lord destroyed, is for an example for today, because the same thing gonna happen on this side. Go ahead.
Now all these things happen unto them for example, in samples, and they are written for our admonition, upon whom the ends of the world are come.
Right. Admonition means stiff warning. Go ahead.
Wherefore let him that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he fall.
Do you think you on top? You think you a man of the Lord? You better take heed. You better examine yourself. Because we do the same thing. We constantly examine ourselves. Lest ye fall. Lahab didn't think he was going to fall. He fell. Jai didn't think he was going to fall. He fell. All right? Now let's go from there to the book of 1 Timothy, the 4th chapter. We're going to read verse 1 and 2. Then we're going to jump to 6. Then we're going to jump to verse 16. Go ahead.
1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith.
And isn't that happening right now? Go ahead.
It says, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils.
Yeah, Mary and Joseph never had sex. Go ahead.
Speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot... Verse 2. Speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. Verse 6. If thou put the brethren in remembrance of these things, thou shalt be a good minister of Yahushai. Nourished.
So that's what we're doing. We're getting on certain guys. We're naming names. So it's up to you to take heed to what we're saying. Go ahead.
If thou put the brethren in remembrance of these things, thou shalt be a good minister of Yahushai, nourished up in the words of faith and of good doctrine, whereunto thou hast attained. Verse 16. Take heed unto thyself and unto the doctrine. Continue in them. For in doing this thou shalt both save thyself and them that hear thee.
That's right. If you do this, you shall save yourself and them that hear thee. All right? Now let's go from there to the book of 1 Corinthians, the 3rd chapter, the 1st verse to the 15th verse. All right, go ahead.
1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 1. And I, brethren, could not speak unto you as unto spiritual, but as unto carnal, even as unto babes in Yahushai. I have fed you with milk and not with meat, for hitherto you were not able to bear it, neither yet now.
That's why we have to have these private YouTube accounts, because you got guys out there that you can't go too deep on, man. You say something, man, you messed up their whole day. You just messed them. They got all emotion. They turned into women, man. You know? Go ahead.
Neither yet now are ye able, for ye are yet carnal. For whereas there is among you envy and strife and divisions, are you not carnal and walk as men? For while one saith, I am of Paul, and another, I am of Apollos, are you not carnal? Who then is Paul and who is Apollos, but ministers by whom ye believed? Even as the Lord gave to every man. I have planted, Apollos watered, but the Most High gave the increase. So then neither is he that planteth anything, neither he that watereth, but the Most High that giveth the increase. Now he that planteth and he that watereth are one, and every man shall receive his own reward according to his own labor. For we are laborers together with the Most High. Ye are the Most High's husbandry, you are the Most High's building, according to the grace of the Most High which is given unto me, as a wise master builder, that I have laid the foundation, and another buildeth thereon. But let every man take heed how he buildeth thereupon. For other foundation can no man lay than that is laid, which is Yahushai. Now if any man build upon this foundation gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, stubble, every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire, and the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is. If any man's work abide, which he hath built thereupon, he shall receive a reward. Verse 15. If any man's work shall be burnt, he shall suffer loss, but he himself shall be saved, yet so as by fire.
Yeah, because if you go out there, going back to Ezekiel again, it says, tell them whether they hear or forbear. All right? Once you tell them and they don't listen, then the blood is off of your hands. So if you go out there and you build fruit to yourself and all your fruit fall off, guess what? You're still going to be saved because you went out there and you pushed that word to them. Okay? Now let's go from there to the book of Revelation, the 10th chapter, the 8th verse to the 11th verse. So we read in Ezekiel the 2nd chapter and Ezekiel the 3rd chapter about taking the roll, the book, and eating all of it, right? And it says it's going to be in your mouth sweet, sweet as honey. Over here in Revelation the 10th chapter, we're going to start from the 8th verse to the 11th verse. It speaks about being bitter. And this is why a lot of guys are falling off and they're bucking up against the order, so to speak. because they're offended and they're tasting the bitter part of the scriptures. Go ahead.
All right, Revelation chapter 10, verse 8. And the voice which I heard from heaven spake unto me again, and said, Go and take the little book which is open in the hand of the angel which standeth upon the sea and upon the earth. And I went unto the angel and said unto him, Give me the little book. And he said unto me, Take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey.
Read that again. Read that part again.
And I went unto the angel and said unto him, Give me the little book. And he said unto me, Take it.
It's the same book that's in Ezekiel, the 2nd and the 3rd chapter. It's the whole word. Even though the whole word wasn't put together yet during the time of Ezekiel. Go ahead.
And he said unto me, Take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter.
Right, consume it. Totally consume it. Go ahead. And it shall make thy what?
Thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey.
Now, look up the word bitter.
Okay, this time we're in the book of Revelation 10 and 9. We're going to look up the word bitter in the Greek.
Strong's G 4087, Pekrino. Pekrino.
Which means to make bitter, to produce a bitter taste in the stomach, to embitter, exasperate, render angry, indignant, to be embittered, irritated, to visit with bitterness, to grieve, deal bitterly with. Down here it pretty much says the same thing, to embitter, exasperate, render angry, indignant, to be embittered, irritated, to visit with bitterness, to grieve, deal bitterly with.
Yeah, so you tasted the sweet part. Now it's full. It's in your bowels now. All right, and now it doesn't taste as good. Now it doesn't feel right. Now you get an upset stomach, so to speak. Now you're angry. Now you're mad. Now you're irritated. Everything bothers you. Then you get tired of it. This wisdom becomes like a great trial on your shoulder, and you put that's in the apocrypha. And after a while, you push it off ere it be long. So that's why guys are getting kicked out and guys are falling off. All right, because they're tasting the bitter. Now let's go from there to the book of Ecclesiastes, the 7th chapter and the 7th verse. Finish it off.
Revelation 10 and 10. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey, and as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. And he said unto me, Thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings.
Yeah, the peoples and nations and tongues and kings are talking about Israelites scattered abroad. When you go to Revelation, the 5th chapter, it breaks it down to you. All right? Now, Ecclesiastes, the 7th chapter and the 7th verse.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 7. Surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart.
Right, so when you're oppressed, you get mad as hell. Then when you wake up to the truth and you find out why you're being oppressed by Esau, then you're mad, but you have to deal with it. At least you know at least you have the understanding. But you got guys that get the understanding, but they remain irritated, and then they fall off. Give me Job, the 31st chapter, the 35th verse to the 36th verse. The 35th and the 36th verse. Go ahead.
Job chapter 31, verse 35. Oh, that one would hear me. Behold, my...
Now that Job, his belly really got bitter. The Most High put hell on him. And he got irritated. When you read the book of Job, he got irritated. He got extremely irritated, mad, upset, angry. He said in Job, the 3rd chapter, he wished that he wasn't even born. That's how messed up he was. But you know what? He stayed on the path, so to speak. Okay? Read that again.
Oh, that one would hear me. Behold, my desire is that the Almighty would answer me, and that mine adversaries had
In other words, he's going through this hell. He wants an answer. Why is this happening to me? Just like we were born in this hell and Esau is on top, you know, he gets a brand new car. If you're lucky, you get a damn used car. Go ahead.
and that mine adversaries had written a book. Surely I would take it upon my shoulder and bind it as a crown to me.
Right. My adversaries wrote a book, and what did it say?
It says, surely I would take it upon my shoulder and bind it as a crown to me.
So who wrote this book? Oh, I'm gonna prove to you. And this is the first time I ever looked at this. I said, who wrote this book? You see all this? It says the Holy Bible containing the Hebrew and Greek scriptures, right? Translated out of the original tongues, and with the former translation diligently compared and revised. The text, comparably known, conformable to that of the edition of the 1611, commonly known as the Authorized or King James Version, all right? Now I would like you to read this printed where? Oh, you got it right there.
Printed in the United States of America.
So when you go back to Job, what did he say? Read it again.
Oh, that one would hear me. Behold, my desire is that the Almighty would answer me, and that mine adversaries had written a book.
Who's our adversaries? Esau, right? Now in the Hebrew, the word there is for man, all right? Esau is a man, and he's also our adversary, right? Now, speak for a second.
Right. So basically, we got these books because the Lord had preserved these books, but our enemies are the ones that got the rights to the publishing, you know? So they're the ones that have published this book to keep it alive, so to speak, so that we could have it today. You know, so the Lord used Esau basically to print the book. That's all the Lord did.
Yeah, I just like you to read this. I don't have my glasses, but this is another King James Bible. What does it say there?
It says Cambridge at the University Press.
What does it say in small letters?
It says Concord 8VO bold figure references pronouncing India paper.
Now let's go. Let's see what that says.
It says printed in published by the Syndics.
Published, written, go ahead, scribed, go ahead.
Published by the Syndics of the Cambridge University Press, the Pitt Building.
Now does Negroes own Cambridge University? Esau owns that, man. Go ahead.
Trumpington Street.
And that's the highest. If you have sons and daughters, and you said, I have 3 sons and 2 daughters. 2 of my children graduated from Oxford. This is Oxford, right? I'm sorry, Cambridge. 2 of them graduated from Cambridge, and the other 2 graduated from Oxford. Those are the highest schools of learning on the planet. If you're a graduate from Oxford or University or Cambridge, that's higher than Yale and Stanford. Go ahead.
Cambridge, Bentley House, 200 Euston Road, London, 32 East 57th Street, New York, 100.
But there goes America. There goes America. So who had part in it? What's the name of this institution? Cambridge, one of the highest schools of higher learning on the planet Earth. Then it's linked up with New York and America. But Esau will tell you the book, this is a fairy tale book. It really doesn't. But why would they waste so much time printing this book? Because go back to Job. My adversary had written a book, and I took that book and I put it on my shoulders, and I put it and I planted it on as a crown on my head. That's the importance of this book. So was that prophecy fulfilled that Job said? You damn right it is. What are we reading out of? We're reading about the downfall of this society, And the guy that put this thing together is the enemy that's going to go down. So he made the gun and he gave us a gun and sent us to school and showed us how to shoot. Go ahead.
USA, 296 Beaconsville Parade, Middle Park, Melbourne, 3206, Australia.
That's another Edom owned by Edomites. That's Esau took that from the Aborigines, man. Go ahead.
Printed in Great Britain in the University Press, Cambridge.
Okay, now let's go from there to the book of Malachi, the 3rd chapter, the 15th, Malachi, the 3rd chapter, the 15th verse to the 18th verse, which is the last verse.
Malachi chapter 3, verse 15. It says, and now, that's Malachi 3 and 15. And now we call the proud happy, yea, they that work wickedness are set up. Yea, they that tempt the Most High are even delivered. And you see that. You see Esau on the top. You see Esau living it up. You see them, they got the best of everything. Even though they're going down, you still got the super rich, which are what? Edomites. They got the best of everything. They can go around the world. They can jet set. They can have breakfast in one country, then have brunch in another country, and then fly to the other side of the world, have lunch, dinner, then that very same night shoot out to another to another country and go to a discotheque or whatever they call it. That's Esau. They got that power. That's why it said, and now we call the proud happy, yea, they that work wickedness are set up. Yea, they that tempt the Most High are even delivered. It says, then they that feared the Lord spake often one to another, and the Lord hearkened and heard it, and a book of remembrance was written before him for them that fear the Lord and that thought upon his name. And they shall be mine, saith the Lord of hosts, and that day.
Oh, thought upon his name. You got to know his name. And his name is in the Hebrew. Go ahead.
And they shall be mine, saith the Lord of hosts, in that day when I make up my jewels, and I will spare them as a man spareth his own son that serveth him. Then shall ye return and discern between the righteous and the wicked, between him that serveth the Most High and him that serveth him not.
Yeah, now let's go from there to the book of 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter, the 15th verse to the end.
2 Peter chapter 3, verse 15. An account that the long suffering of our Lord is salvation, even as our beloved brother Paul also, according to the wisdom given unto him, hath written unto you, and also, as also in all his epistles, speaking in them of these things, in which are some things hard to be understood, which they that are unlearned and unstable rest, as they do also the other scriptures.
Yeah, the word rest means wrestle. So they're wrestling to try to figure out these scriptures, but they can't get it. That's why the Most High set up teachers. Go ahead.
As they do also the other scriptures unto their own destruction. Yea, therefore.
Yeah, so you got a lot of guys out there calling themselves, they thinking that they know the scriptures, that they know all the scriptures, so they go out there and they teach and they're breaking down the scriptures totally wrong. So what's going to happen to them according to the scriptures? They're doing that to their own destruction. Go ahead.
Ye therefore, beloved, seeing you know these things before, beware lest you also, being led away with the error of the wicked, fall from your own
Yeah, so when you see guys do that, you better beware. You better check yourself out. You better find out that if the guy that you're following is the right guy. Or if you going on your own breaking down them scriptures, you better diligently search and you better pray to the Most High. That the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, open your eyes. Go ahead.
Beware, lest ye also, being led away with the error of the wicked, fall from your own steadfastness. But growing.
Well, I said that earlier. The guys that had them accounts, they went out there teaching, then they stopped teaching. Some of them closed their accounts. Some of them got their accounts still open, but they haven't visited their account in over a year. Go ahead.
But grow in grace and in the knowledge of our Lord and Savior Yahushai. To him be glory both now and forever. Amen.
Now the last scripture we're going to close on this in the Apocrypha, the book of Sirach, the 50th chapter, the 27th to the 29th verse.
Sirach chapter 50 verse 27. Jesus, the son of Sirach of Jerusalem, hath written in this book the instruction of understanding and knowledge, who out of his heart poured forth wisdom. Blessed is he that shall be exercised in these things, and he that layeth them up in his heart shall become wise. For if he do them, he shall be strong to all things. For the light of the Lord leadeth him, who giveth...
For the what? For the light of the Lord leadeth him. So if you're of the elect, the Most High is going to, the Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai is going to lead you. Go ahead.
Who giveth wisdom to the godly. Blessed be the Lord forever. Amen. Amen.
And so with that, we hope y'all learned something. Keep watching the show, and watch out for the new videos on the private site. Shalom. Shalom, and welcome once again to Elders of GMS, giving all praises to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Today's topic is entitled, and this is probably going to be an ongoing thing, you know, if the Spirit deems it, but it'll be subtopics under this main topic, and the topic is, Speak thou the things which become sound doctrine. Now, the reason why I entitled it that is because you got, let me say this, all praises to you brothers out there in the States, in the different countries. When I put out that decree in love, you know, got to put it out in love, I mean, it was hard. Sometimes, but you know, there's a thing called tough love. You know, because now we got to tighten our belts. I mean, you see the madness with these different other guys, and now you know who you are. Now you can identify with the next camp, and when you come across that site, you can say, "Oh, that's a GMS site," because we're gonna have to do that, man. We're gonna have to separate ourselves from those other Israelite groups because they have too many, you know, doctrines, you know, false doctrines. Even though they get the basics right, you know, they all say the 12 tribes of Israel and Esau is white man. Some of them go off on that too. You know, they'll say the white man is the sons of Japhet. All right, but I'm saying among the mainstream guys that you see up there, they all teach that Esau is a so-called white man. They teach America's Babylon. They teach the Babylon's going down. And they teach the same things that we teach. But as you go deeper into your studies, and because you guys out there that have them camps, you brothers, I was thinking about this the other day. You brothers are basically, you can deal with pretty much any scholar on the planet Earth. Some of you guys been in this thing for 3 years, 3.5 years, going on 4 years. And pretty much you know everything. You know how to look up words. You got that Hebrew. You done found, some of you brothers have found your own Bible dictionaries and came across things yourself, and you filtered it through the scriptures. So you brothers are top teachers, the top teachers on the planet Earth. And I know you know that, you know. And, you know, these other groups, Hebrew Israelite groups, they're going to find out who the top group is. And not that we're bragging and boasting about it. It's just that, you know, the Most High had set us up. You know, we're trying our best to be humble. But it's hard. That's a No, we're humble. You know, we're humble, all right? You know, we're humble brothers, and we pray that we remain humble, you know? I mean, we have a little fun every once in a while, you know, when we saying stuff. Because you say that, they'll see this guy, he boasting on himself and all this nonsense. And they're looking for any little thing. But anyway, the reason why I entitled it what I entitled it today is because you got these doctrines like, for example, it don't make no sense for you to go around teaching that Cornelius is an Edomite. That doesn't make any sense, all right? Now, the reason why and some of you brothers are teaching it, but you're sincere, you know, you're sincere because you're going by what you were taught at the main school. You know, basically you're going by what you were taught by Ariah. But check this out. Ariah is saying that Comfy is a God-sent comforter. So now you should scratch your head and say, wait a minute, man, I got to go check everything that Ariah taught, double check it. So you guys are just basically going, when you're not sure of anything, you run back home to mama, so to speak. Because you said Ariah is the great man of the Lord, which he is. But the Most High didn't give this whole truth, this knowledge to one man. He didn't give it to one man. And the proof of that is we came out with a lot of things that Ariah never taught. Like, for example, we touched upon Daniel, the 11th chapter. We went into, what is that, Second Ezra's, the 11th and the 12th chapter, about the wing with the three eagles' heads and the feathers. Ariah never went into it. He touched on it, but he never really went deep into it. So it was a lot of things that we went into that Ariah never really touched on. And if you watch these other guys, they don't go outside of what they were taught at the main school. Like I said, not to knock Ariah, because Ariah is a great teacher, and the Most High blessed him with a lot of revelations, but he didn't bless him with everything. So we're carrying the torch on, and the Most High is opening our eyes to see more things because we're studying. We're going through this truth. You got a scripture up?
This is Isaiah chapter 34, verse 17. And he hath cast a lot for them, and his hand hath divided it unto them by line. They shall possess it forever, from generation to generation shall they dwell therein.
And basically, what was that? Name it again.
Isaiah 34:17. And he hath cast a lot for them, and his hand has divided it unto them by line. They shall possess it forever. From generation to generation shall they possess it. I'm sorry. From generation to generation shall they dwell therein.
Exactly. So the Most High didn't give it all to one man. Give me Revelation. You was just in what?
Isaiah 34.
Okay, good. You covered it. You should. You know what? Start from the 16th verse. No, start from the 16th verse. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 34, verse 16. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. No one of these shall fail, none shall want her mate.
Right. That's what I wanted. He should have started at the 16th verse. Because the things that are happening now around the world on the news, now these protests are coming to the United States. If you've been watching the news, and you should be watching the news, out there in Wisconsin, I mean, they're not throwing bottles and rocks and going crazy, but guess what? After a while, they are going to start going crazy. They are going to start fighting the police. What's happening over there in Greece and Spain and Bahrain and Egypt and Iraq and Libya and Turkey, it's coming over here. See, y'all haven't felt the pinch yet. Y'all haven't felt that pressure yet. When you start really feeling that pressure, because just the other day, this morning and yesterday, they started speaking about they might have to close down the federal government. And they did that before during the Clinton administration. Go ahead.
It says, seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read, no one of these shall fail. None.
Everything that we were saying when we first got on YouTube back in July of 2007, all those things that we've been saying through the years, now they're coming to pass. Habakkuk 2 is coming to pass. It says, if it tarry, wait for it. But we don't have to tarry no more because it's here. Go ahead.
No one of these shall fail, none shall want her mate.
Right. The pushing of the mark of the chip, that's not going to fail. They're already doing it in Mexico. There was something on the news the other day that they're going to make most of their citizens take that chip. And then Iran, pretty much, there was two Iranian ships that went to the Suez Canal. So now we know that the reason why the U.S. has been sending this year is supposed to be 1.6 billion to Egypt, because that's one of their puppets that they set up. That's why they put the army in charge, because basically they got rid of the head guy, but the guys right underneath him that came up underneath him are the same. They're the same. They have the same mindset, and they're still dealing with the U.S. The same administration. So you got rid of one bad guy, and you got another bad guy in his place. And he's gonna tell you these lies. Actually, it's a military state now. You went from a dictatorship to martial law, because they said they suspended the Constitution for 6 months. Now, what's going to happen 6 months from now? They might extend it to another year. So now you're under military rule. And if they have to send in the UN troops, you're going to have military from other nations, and they're not going to kiss you. They ain't going to accept your kisses because they're not Egyptians. Go ahead.
It says, for my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them. And he hath cast a lot for them, and his hand hath divided it unto them by line. They shall possess it forever. From generation to generation shall they dwell therein.
Yeah, the thing that we're going to possess is this Bible and the understanding of this Bible. All right, you got something, Mark?
Yeah, I got a precept to back Elder Ramlab up. This is Daniel 12 and 13. But go thou thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end of days, which backs up what Elder Tahar said.
That scripture that he just quoted proves reincarnation. And you got people out there that can't even accept that reincarnation is mentioned in the scriptures. Now, going back to what I said in the beginning, the opening of the show, Praise all you brothers that open up the GMS sites, whether it be GMS New Orleans, GMS Texas, GMS Chicago, GMS Florida. There was a couple of different GMS Florida camps. You had what was it? The one was the Virginia, but you had in Florida alone, I think GMS Miami, I think was GMS Fort Lauderdale. I guess there's a GMS Jacksonville. So there's like 4 GMS camps down in Florida, and then you got GMS camps in England. All right, and then you got GMS camps throughout all the states. You know, like I said, I mentioned Chicago, I mentioned Texas, I mentioned Washington, the San Francisco Bay Area, GMS Los Angeles, the Carolinas, Virginias, and down in the islands, you got GMS, a couple of GMS camps, and you got GMS Canada or GMS Toronto, England. So there's so many GMS camps out there. So these guys, like I said, after the Most High brings the elect all together, those other little straggling groups, they either gonna have to get down with GMS, or they're gonna have to. The Most High gonna get rid of them, man. And like I said, we're not bragging and boasting. You know, GMS like GMS is this and GMS is that. That's just a name that stuck. The Lord set that whole thing up. All right. Now you got guys out there, they'll quote from Revelation 18 saying GMS means great millstone. So that means they're talking about they're going to destroy themselves. Well, when you go to the book of Daniel, Daniel, the 2nd chapter, around about the 40th verse on down, it tells you about a stone coming from the heavens and destroying the statue. So the stone begins with Yahweh Shai, then it comes down to the men of the Lord. So first this man's being brought out by the information. You're being condemned through the mouth. Then you're going to be physically condemned. Okay? All right, go ahead.
This is the book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth.
You know what? Start up from about the 3rd verse.
2 Thessalonians 2 and 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except they come a falling away first.
So what did Paul say? Because at that time, they kept thinking that the Lord was going to come back in their lifetime. They didn't realize that they had to be destroyed. They had to, the Romans were going to besiege their land, that a lot of them were going to be put to death, that they were going to be fed to the lions, that they were going to flee into the interiors of Africa, that they were going to be brought into captivity and serve slavery. So that's the falling away. So all this stuff had to happen. Now we went through the North American captivity. We went through this hell. We went through the 60s, the black struggle, the Black Panthers, all these different things that Jake tried to rise up. Malcolm X came on the scene. Martin Luther King came on the scene. Marcus Garvey came on the scene in the 30s. So now all those guys came and went. So now who's the last group that was going to come and stay? The Israelites. The men that's teaching you that they're the Israelites. That you're the Israelites, rather. So ain't nobody going to come after us. Go ahead.
And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
Yeah, the Esau. He's revealed who he is in the scriptures. He's Esau. Go ahead.
The son of perdition.
The devil. Go ahead.
Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped.
Any church that you go into, when you look at an image of God or his son or the angels, they're all Edomites, crackers. Go ahead.
So that he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and now you know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work.
The mystery of iniquity is the Roman Empire. That's what Paul was telling you. Go ahead.
Only he who now letteth will let.
The Most High allowed this man to go on. That's why Paul said what he said in Romans the 13th chapter. And you got guys that's breaking down that wrong. Basically, what Paul was saying in Romans the 13th chapter, the first 2 verses was, this man was set up by the Most High, so don't try to take this man down. Because you had a lot of Israelite groups and other nations that were constantly trying to take the Roman Empire down by force. Go ahead.
Until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth.
And how is the Most High talking to him? Through us. Go ahead.
And shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
He's going to physically come down in the ships with the angels, with an innumerable amount of angels, and he's going to destroy this damn place simultaneously while the missiles are coming from Russia and possibly China. Go ahead.
Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan.
Yeah, because this whole thing goes back to what you did as Cain when you rose up and slew your brother Abel. It said, sin lieth at the door, and to it shall be his desire. Go ahead.
Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they received not the love of the truth, that they might be saved.
Yeah, so that's these jakes that follow this man's system. They're going to be destroyed because the Most High gave them strong delusion that they may believe a lie. Go ahead.
And for this cause the Most High shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believed not. That they all might be damned who believed not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness.
Yeah, that's these 2/3 of these jakes. The hell with these 2/3 of these niggas, man. I was in the Bronx the other day, and I had my camera with me, right? I was by myself, and I had went to this auto store to pick up something, and I seen from a distance 2 dudes, but they were like thug bone niggas, and they dressed like thugs. But then I got a good look, and I said, "Are these niggas holding hands?" There were 2 thug bone niggas that they wasn't dressed like homos, man, but they were holding each other's hands. And I said, these are 2 fucking open thug bone faggots, man. In the Bronx. Of all places. It wasn't Greenwich Village, it was in the Bronx. So I hurried up to try to get my camera to film this shit because nobody was going to believe me, you know? As soon as I pull up, the Satan made them niggas turn that damn corner, man, and I couldn't get them. But I'm gonna get them faggots. I'm gonna catch them faggots on camera, man. So I said, you know what? And these guys are trying to save all of Israel. All Israel is not gonna be saved, nigga. All right? Go ahead.
It says that they all might be damned who believed not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness.
Now, a simple ass Jake that comes into the truth, he'll actually go up there and try to talk to you. You don't talk to niggas like that. You don't talk to niggas like that. There's only one thing for them niggas, man. That's destruction, death and destruction. Go ahead.
Revelation 22:11. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still.
That's what time we in. Here it is 2011. This man getting ready to go down. You niggas out there that are lollygagging, we're not gonna even waste our time, man. If I come up to you and I tell you that you're an Israelite and I start teaching you out the scriptures, if you buck up against it, I'm closing a book on your ass. All right? Go ahead.
And he which is filthy, let him be filthy still. And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still.
Now let's go from there to 2 Peter's, the 2nd chapter and the 1st verse. We're going to read down a couple of verses. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, this is just a quick scripture on the great millstone thing. Matthew 21:44. It says, "And whosoever shall fall on this stone shall be broken, but on whomsoever it shall fall, it will grind to powder." So this great millstone thing was set up by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai.
All right, go ahead.
2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1. But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you.
And we see that. And we see that. And you see that. Go ahead.
Who privately shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that bought them.
Look up the word heresy. 2 Peter, the 2nd chapter. Was that the 2nd verse? 1st verse. Look up the word heresies. It's come from the same word heretic. Go ahead.
But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privately shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that bought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction.
Read the scripture. Read the breakdown.
Okay, we're in 2 Peter 2:1, the Greek word for heresies.
Strong's G 139, hyresis. Hyresis.
Which means act of taking, capture, storming a city, choosing, choice, that which is chosen, a body of men following their own tenets, sect or party, of the Sadducees, of the Pharisees, of the Christians, dissensions arising from diversity of opinions and aims. Down over here it says the storming of a city, choosing, choice. Let's see what else it says.
Look, that's all you need. Go back to that main one that you read. There was like the third, the longest line right there.
Oh yeah, a body of men following their own tenets, sect or party.
That hits it on the nose, man. You know? All right, go ahead.
It says, but there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privately shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that bought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction.
Yeah, denying the Lord that brought them. When you teach, and we're gonna go into that. Well, we're not. Well, I guess I'll let you go into it since you did the special on it the other night. You got this guy that they call him Danger Mouse out there in England. All right, which he denies that he was came to any of mine and Gabar's classes at the House of David. All right, but you know what? You know we don't have film to prove it, so it's a mute point. Cause niggas do that, man. If they know you ain't got no film or no witness, 1,000 witnesses, they're gonna deny the shit, man. You know. That's why when the cops pull your ass, black ass over, 9 times out of 10, he gonna beat the shit out of you or blow your ass away because he knows you a lying sack of shit. You know? All right, what was I going to... All right, go ahead, read on.
It says, and many shall follow their pernicious ways.
Right, like you got guys that are following this guy. Now the ball's on Danger Mouse out there in England. And, you know, I looked at one of his videos. He's out of his damn mind. That doctrine that he's teaching is nothing but poison, but he's got a spirit of a schoolmaster. He gets all into that, man. You know, he got the blackboard, and he says, okay, and he sounds like a woman, like the comments say. He sounds like a woman, all right? The Most High said, exalt the voice. So if the Most High is going to exalt, take a prophet, he's not going to set up a prophet and give him a woman's voice.
He was a Nazarite from birth.
Okay.
Read on.
Okay, what does that mean right there?
And it came to pass as he continued
The
to pray
dude, he's
for the Most High,
got a schoolmaster
Eli
demon on him.
marked her mouth.
He enjoys that he
Now
comes in
Hannah,
there
she
and the
spake
guys
in her heart,
come in the room and they sit
only her
down
lips
and they got
moved.
their hands
Her voice was
folded
not
and they're
heard.
ready for that
Therefore
class.
Eli thought she had
You know?
been drunken.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead. You know about it.
She was talking, but he couldn't hear the words. He was so grieved, he just saw her lips.
Yeah,
okay, but who was she communicating with?
in England back in the day, I don't know if they do it now, but they had the headmaster.
How long wilt thou
He
be
had that
drunken?
mortarboard square
Put
over
away
his
thy wine
head.
from
He
thee.
had the cane.
So he
And
was
if your ass get out of
being
order,
a
he
bit
would
calm.
cane your
He
ass.
wasn't quite
You know?
understanding the sorrow that she was going through.
That's what he's missing.
He thought she was going a bit mad. Okay.
Yeah, he's
Taking
missing
her
that
to
cane,
the alcohol.
you know,
Uh,
and that miter board hat. All right, are we finished with that? Go ahead.
It says, and many shall follow their pernicious ways by reason of...
Oh, like one of his shows, somebody sent me last night or the other night, or the other day, and he had made a statement because he was going into what was he going into? I think he was going into the new moon and the Sabbath day, and you know whether it's on Friday sundown or Saturday sundown. He was really bucking up against us because we're really the only Israelite group that's teaching that. GMS is the only ones that's teaching that, and today we're going to prove it to you. We're going to make it crystal clear for you. We're going to show you that a Sabbath is the same as a week. You don't have a month, but then you have weeks. Weeks are within months, all right? Within years. That's the order, okay? But he made a statement in that tape in that class that he did. He said, you guys, you shouldn't go on those other YouTube sites because there's a lot of confusion. Now, you know what? We tell GMS to go on any site that you can go on a Muslim site. You can go on any site you want to go on. All right? Because if he fully taught them the doctrine, I can open up the ancient, Egyptian Book of the Dead and read that shit all day, and that ain't gonna mess me up. But some of you niggas will read that, and you'll wear a goddamn mitre on your damn head, man. Talking about you want to go back to Egypt. See, a nigga is easily led, man. So them guys that are under him, they're easily led. Their minds are weak. But really, the reason why he taught that is because he don't want them guys to stumble onto the truth. Because what he has is not the truth. And I'm going to prove that. All right? Because, I mean, if he was teaching the truth, he would be teaching that the Sabbath comes in based upon the new moon. When the new moon comes in, that first day is a Sabbath. 6 days you work. The second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day, sixth day, seventh day. When does the next Sabbath come in? The evening of the seventh day, which is the 8th day. That's how it works. You don't have the so-called the Hebrew calendar, but then you got the calendar of weeks. You don't have 2 goddamn calendars.
Yeah, this is to back Elder Tahar, what he said. He don't want his the guys he's teaching, he don't want them to stumble upon the truth. Well, this is Matthew 23 and 13. It says, but unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye shut up the kingdom of heaven against men. For ye neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in.
And that's a basic scripture, man. But it hit right to the point. We finished that, right? Now let's go to Galatians, the 2nd chapter. Start from the 1st verse, and we're going to read down to the 4th verse. Go ahead.
Galatians chapter 2, verse 1. The 14th year, then 14 years after, I went up again to Jerusalem with Barnabas, and took Titus with me also. And I went up by revelation and communicated unto them the gospel.
By the way, Titus is an Israelite. Timothy is an Israelite. You read through these scriptures, and then you read that he was a Greek and all that, and you think Timothy as well as Titus, and you say to yourself, well, that means he was a white man. That's because you're not deep. That's because the Most High is not dealing with you. That's why you can't see it. That's why your eyes are not open. Go ahead.
It says, and I went up by revelation and communicated unto them that gospel which I preach among the Gentiles.
Which I preach among the Gentiles. That's talking about Israelites whose parents went to other lands around the world and basically forgot their religion. They spoke their languages. They taught their customs to their children. So they looked just like an actual Israelite, but they might have been wearing Greek garments or the garments of that land. But then the truth was coming back to them, so they wound up coming back into the truth. Because at one time, before we all came into the fact that we were Israelites, we were walking around saying that we were Negroes, Puerto Ricans, Jamaican, Cuban. All right, go ahead.
It says, but privately to them which were of reputation, lest by any means I should run or had run in vain. But neither Titus, who was with me, being a Greek, was compelled to be circumcised. And that, verse 4, and that because of false brethren unawares brought in, who came in privately to spy out our liberty, which we have in Yahushua Mashiach, that they might bring us into bondage.
Yeah, and that's what you got, guys that'll bring you, and that cuts Danger Mouse, because he's bringing them guys into bondage. That's why he said, don't go to those other YouTube sites because they're very confused. No, because they might, you know what? If they go and watch our videos, guess what? They're going to come to your class asking you all kind of questions that you can't answer. All right? They'll be liberated. All right? Now let's go from there to the book of 2 Corinthians, the 11th chapter, the 10th verse to the 26th verse. Go ahead.
2 Corinthians, the 11th chapter, verse 10. As the truth of Yahushua is in me, no man shall stop me of this boasting in the regions of Achaia.
Now, I just said that we don't boast and brag, but what did Paul say? Paul said he boasts. You know? Go ahead.
Wherefore, because I love you not, the Most High knoweth, but what I do, that I will do, that I might cut off occasion from them which desire occasion, that wherein they glory they may be found even as we. For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Yahushua. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Therefore it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness.
You know what that means? That's talking about these jakes out there teaching about Israel. You're going to find out a lot of them made that Faustian bargain with the Rothschilds, or one of the sub people of the or one of the other under people of the Rothschilds. Go ahead.
Whose end shall be according to their works. I say again, let no man think me a fool, if otherwise yet as a fool receive me, that I may boast myself a little. That which I speak it not after the Lord, but as it were foolishly, in the confidence of boasting. Seeing that many glory after the flesh, I will glory also. For you suffer fools gladly, seeing you yourselves are wise. For ye suffer if a man bring you into bondage, if a man devour you, if a man take of you, if a man exalt himself, if a man smite you on the face. I speak as concerning reproach, as though we had been weak. Howbeit, whereinsoever any is bold, I speak foolishly, I am bold also. Are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they Israelites? So am I. Are they the seed of Abraham? So am I. Are they ministers of Mashiach, Yahushua? I speak as a fool. I am more. In labors more abundant, in stripes above measure, in prisons more frequent.
We've been through a lot of things, man, that you brothers are just now experiencing. We've been locked up, for 4 or 5 days. Some brothers a week, We've been broken down. We've been shipwrecked, so to speak. We went through hell, man. And we're still going through hell. Go ahead.
In deaths oft of the Jews 5 times received I 40 stripes save one. Thrice was I beaten with rods. Once I was stoned. Thrice I suffered shipwreck. A night and a day I have been in the deep. Verse 26. And journeyings often. And perils of waters. And perils of robbers. And perils by my own countrymen. And
perils by my own countrymen. See, that's why you camps out there, you got to build up a tougher skin. Because you allowed these other guys, these outside Israelites, to come among you, because you're looking at it this, but you didn't know. You're trying to be, you coming into Israel and you're trying to be brotherly with a man that says he's an Israelite. But not all Israel is of Israel, That's right. That's right. It says, trust ye not in a friend. All right? So you got guys out there that they'll say they're Israelites and they'll give you the salute and all that, but they're a bunch of damn demons, man, as you brothers have recently experienced. All right? Go ahead.
It says, in perils by, in journeyings often, in perils of waters, in perils of robbers, in perils by my own countrymen, in perils by the heathen, in perils.
Yeah, brother, a guy come up and act like he's your brother and invite you and family over, and if your wife look good, he's scheming on your damn wife. Then all of a sudden you find out he's popping your damn wife. Go ahead.
In perils in the city, in perils in the wilderness, in perils in the sea, verse 26, in perils among false brethren.
In perils among false brethren. So keep in mind, you got false brethren out there. Even inside the GMS. Because there's going to be guys that's going to be weeded out. You got spies, CIA agents. Oh, let me say this too. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I gave out an order, you're not to be on Facebook. Now, there's a video, and you're going to see it right now on the screen. There's a video that came out in 2007.
Facebook allows users
I
to
think it
post their
came out
favorite
before we
music,
even put up our
books,
first
movies,
video on
their
YouTube.
address,
And
hometown,
basically,
phone
it says
number,
something to the
email,
effect of,
clubs,
it basically
jobs,
speaks about the
educational
CIA
history,
controls
birth
the
dates, sexual
Facebook.
orientation,
And it's
interests,
an actual video
daily
with a woman
schedules,
speaking.
exactly how they are related to friends,
And you know
upload
what?
pictures of
We just now
themselves, and
found
even
out about that.
political
We didn't know nothing
affiliations.
about that video.
Its
So
privacy
that was the
policy
spirit
even
when I
goes so
said,
far as
don't
to
be on
state that
Facebook.
also
Because
collects
basically in that
information
video,
about you from other
it's telling you,
sources, such as
when you go on
newspapers and instant
Facebook,
messaging
you,
services.
you
This
tell them how,
information
what
is gathered regardless
your
of
mother,
usage
your
of the website.
father, where you
Think
originally
that's scary?
came from, what school you
Facebook's
go
terms of
to, your
service state
address, what your
by
house
posting
look
member
like,
content to
when
any
you
part
go
of the
out, when
website,
you come back in, when you
automatically
wash your
grant,
clothes.
and you have to present and warrant that you have the right to grant.
You're doing the work
Facebook
for them.
irrevocable,
That's basically a
perpetual,
database
non-exclusive,
for the CIA
transferable,
to get
fully
your
paid,
information, man.
worldwide license with the right
It's
to
basically they're setting up a
use,
dossier,
copy,
and they got you putting the
form,
dossier
display,
together.
reformat, translate, excerpt.
So you
and
brothers
hold
gonna have to be
part
more
and
mind. I mean,
distribute
when I
such
saw that
information
Facebook, I
and
ain't into
content, and to
that
prepare
bullshit,
derivative
man.
works of, or incorporate
Go
into
ahead.
other works.
This
such
is
information and
Jeremiah
content,
chapter 9.
and to grant
Because you
authorized
got with
sublicenses
other
of the
Israelites, and you gave this guy your
You
number.
seen
Let me
the
give you my
Facebook's Pulse
number.
feature? Pulse
Then when
provides
all hell
statistical
breaks
trends
loose,
among
years later, they
universities
call
down
you
to
back
minute
trying to
details
find out
such
what's
as
going on.
percentages of females with
So now it's a
conservative
headache
views,
to you.
the student body's top 10 movies, and percentage of
Go
students
ahead.
who have read Catcher in the
Jeremiah 9.
You can't be friendly with every damn body, man. Go ahead.
Jeremiah 9 and 4. Take ye heed every one of his neighbor, and trust ye not in any brother.
That's the same
Con. For every brother will utterly supplant, and every neighbor will walk with slanders. And they will deceive every one his neighbor, and will not speak the truth. They have taught their tongue to speak lies, and weary themselves to commit iniquity. Thine habitation is in the midst of deceit. Through deceit they refuse to know me, saith the Lord power. Therefore thus saith the Lord of hosts, Behold, I will melt them and try them, for how shall I do for the daughter of my people?
That's right. Now let's go back to where we left off. All right, go ahead.
2 Corinthians 11 and 26. In journeyings often, in perils of waters, in perils of robbers, in perils by my own countrymen, in perils by the heathen, in perils in the city, in perils in the wilderness, in perils in the sea, in perils among false brethren.
Right, now let's go from there to the book of 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter, and the 17th verse.
2 Peter chapter 3, verse 17. Ye therefore, beloved, seeing you know these things before, beware, lest you also, being led away with the error of the wicked, fall from your own steadfastness.
That's right, because you had guys, false brethren, get other guys that come in and kind of lead them to follow them. You know, oh, them GMS guys, see, they all right, but they got a problem with the woman, man. We can't, the Lord ain't dealing with them. Then all of a sudden you come back and then you call yourself cursing us out because of the women, and then you wind up going right back in the world. And we actually seen this happen, all right? Now let's go from there to Colossians, the 2nd chapter and the 8th verse.
This is the book of Colossians, the 2nd chapter and the 8th verse. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Yahushua.
Read that again.
Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Yahushua.
And that explains itself. Now go from there to the book of 2 John, the 1st chapter and the 10th verse.
2 John chapter 1, verse 10. If there come any unto you, and bring not this doctrine, receive him not into your house, neither bid him Godspeed.
Now, what is the doctrine? The doctrine is the Sabbath comes in based upon the new moon, which we're going to go into in about another minute or so. The doctrine is that Cornelius is an Israelite. What else is the doctrine? That's
Joseph and Mary had sex. That's a part of the doctrine. That they're not teaching that. Then you have many other parts of the doctrine. The Lord only came to save Israel. The Israelites are the so-called Negroes, West Indians, Puerto Ricans, so on and so forth. Like Elder Tar already said, Cornelius is an Israelite. You know, so you got to know these things. This is part of that doctrine. This is part of the foundation that keeps you grounded in the truth and keeps you from going into other different philosophies.
Yeah, because like I said, what I said, the reason why you're teaching that nonsense, because you learned it from the old school. Now, if we was to run into Ariah, I guarantee you, we go into the scriptures with Ariah, and Ariah say, yep, Cornelius is an Israelite. See, a lot of you guys, you pick a guy to be the man. That's the man of the Lord. So whatever he says, however foolish, whatever he says, you just go by it. You take the easy route. And Lahab did that. Yeshai did that. Short did that. All them guys did that, man, at the main school, man. All right, where was you at, brother? Okay, that's okay. Now let's go from there to the book of 2 Timothy, the 4th chapter and the 3rd verse. You know, Moses had caught so much hell with Israel back there that he prayed to the Most High and he asked the Most High to put him to death. Now, people want to be, I want to be the last to be the leader. You don't want to be the leader. You get nothing but damn headaches, man. You get nothing but grief. That's right. Much is given, much is required. That's why with me, if you come up with some madness, you know, you got to counsel. And then Patak experienced that, man. He told Ma'ak Allah that he said, I'm going this way and I'm not budging. So when it came to me, I said, well, you know what? He can go about his business. Then when they went back and told him, his eyes popped open, man. We ain't playing no games with you niggas, man. You come up with some bullshit, you better make sure you got it right, man. Because if you come up the wrong way, if you come up short, well, actually, you said if you come up short, give me Hebrews 4:1. Because things are moving too fast, man. We ain't got time to play games with you, man. You might get that, you come to that council, man, you might go with your damn head hanging down between your legs. Go ahead.
Hebrews chapter 4, verse 1. Let us therefore fear, lest the promise being left of us of entering into his rest, any of you should seem to come short of it.
And that's plain. Some of you going to come up short. All right? All right, go ahead.
2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 3. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. And they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned unto fables.
That's right. That's why you got a whole bunch of zombified Negroes and other tribes following Comfy with that madness, man. If you was to turn on your brain, let your brain work a little bit, man, you would see right through that clown, man. But like I said, when you encounter Israel, most of them are zombified. You know, they see something and they get into it, and then they just follow it like a damn fool, you know? That's lost sheep, man. And we trying to help them, but, you know, if they're part of the 2/3, there's nothing you can do. All right, give me 1 Timothy, the 6th chapter, the 1st verse to the 6th verse. Then we're going to go into the topic.
1 Timothy 6:1. Let as many servants as are under the yoke count their own masters worthy of all honor, that the name of the Most High and his doctrine be not blasphemed.
And his doctrine be not blasphemed. We are teaching the right doctrine, pursuant to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Go ahead.
It says, and they that have believing masters, let them not despise them, because they are brethren, but rather do them service, because they are faithful and beloved, partakers of the benefit. These things teach and exhort. If any man teach otherwise and consent not to wholesome words.
Right. In other words, you got the scriptures, right? You reading out of the scriptures, but you're breaking the scriptures down wrong. Because the Most High said he gonna bless you with teachers. He gonna give you teachers. Because you can't get this on your own. There'll come a point where you begin to understand it, and then you become a teacher. Go ahead.
Even the words of our Lord Yahushai, Mashiach, and to the doctrine which is according to godliness, he is proud.
Matter of fact, look that up and look up the word doctrine. Go ahead.
It says, if any man teach otherwise, consent not to wholesome words, even the words of our Lord Yahushai Mashiach, and to the doctrine which is according to godliness, He is proud, knowing nothing, but doting about questions and strifes of words, whereof cometh envy, strife, railings, evil surmisings, perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds, and destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness, from such withdraw thyself. Verse 6, but godliness with contentment is great gain.
Yeah, now let's look up the word doctrine.
Yeah, we're in the book of 1 Timothy 6:3, the Greek word for doctrine.
Strong's G 1319. Didaskalia. Didaskalia.
Which means teaching, instruction, teaching, that which is taught, doctrine, teaching, precepts. Pretty much says what's up here, that which is taught, doctrine, precepts.
Okay, now we're going to go into the actual subject, which basically we're going to break down the new. We're going to go into the new moon. We're going to show you that the Sabbath is not the so-called Friday, the so-called Friday sundown, the so-called Saturday sundown. That the Sabbath, what the so-called Jews go by, the Sabbath comes in based upon a new moon. All right. In other words, the new moon. When the new moon comes in, that's the first day of the month. The word month comes from the word moon, and that's your first Sabbath. All right. 7 months in from the first month of the year, you have what's called the memorial of blowing of the trumpets, which that's a memorial to the new moons, which comes in on the seventh month. That evening before that first day, the first day is a new moon, but it's like a high holy day to commemorate all the new moons, because these so-called Jews teach you that there's two different New Years, which is stupid. You got the first year of the month where you have the Passover in that month, and then 7 months later you got another New Year. That doesn't make any sense. The new year is a cycle. You go around the cycle, and then you come back to the new year again. So they don't understand what the hell is going on. All right. But before I go into actual scriptures, I want to go into the word calendar, and we're going to read the whole thing. It's a fast read.
No. Okay. This is from the Zondervan's Compact Bible Dictionary, page 98 on the calendar. It says, during the Bible period, time was reckoned solely on astronomical observations. Days, months, and years were determined by the sun and moon. Days of the week were not named by the Jews, but were designated by ordinal numbers. The Jewish day.
In other words, you didn't have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and so forth. Go ahead.
The Jewish day began in the evening with the appearance of the first stars. Days were subdivided into hours and watches.
So when did the new day came in? It was in the middle of winter, and the stars began to show, and then you started to see the moon coming out. That was the beginning of the new day, of the next day. Go ahead.
The Hebrews divided nights into 3 watches. Exodus 14:24, Judges 7:19, and Lamentations 2:19. The 7-day week is of Semitic origin. Egyptians had a week of 10 days. The Jewish week had its origins in the creation account and ran consecutively irrespective of lunar or solar cycles.
I'll read that again.
It says
that was madness.
The Jewish week had its origins in the creation account and ran consecutively irrespective of lunar or solar cycles.
So in other words, you had weeks go by, and when the new moon came in, well, you had weeks and then you had months. Months had nothing to do with weeks, and weeks had nothing to do with months. That's madness. That's madness.
So why did the Most High create the moon during that time period? If the moon and the sun and the stars had nothing to do with it. This was done for man's physical and spiritual welfare. The biblical, and then you guys will read this and you'll go with it. You know, you got guys out there.
Yeah, right. Because a lot of you guys get the Bible dictionaries out there, and you read everything like it's a word of the Most High. That's why we got to read it and break it down to you. You got to know how to decipher it and pick out the bones. Discern. Go ahead.
This was done for man's physical and spiritual welfare. The biblical records are silent regarding the observance of the Sabbath day from creation to the time of Moses. Sabbath observances was either revived or given special emphasis by Moses. Exodus 16:23 and Exodus 20 verse 8. The Hebrew month began with the new moon. Before the exile months were designated by numbers. After the exile, names were adopted from the Babylonians. After the exile, names adopted from the Babylonians were used. Synchronized Jewish sacred calendar. Nisan, March, April. Iyar, April, May. Sivan, May, June.
And the Most High didn't sanction these names because one name is going to pop up. All right, go ahead.
Tammuz, June, July.
Right. You think the Most High going to allow the children of Israel to make up a month called Tammuz? Go ahead.
Ab, July, August. Elul, August, September. Tishri, September, October. Heshvan, October, November. Kislev, November, December. Tabeth, December, January. Shabbat, January, February. Adar, February, March. The Jewish calendar had 2 concurrent years. The sacred year beginning in the spring with the month Nisan, and the civic year beginning with the Tishri, numbered in parentheses above.
They went off again. Go ahead.
The sacred year was instituted by Moses and consisted of lunar months of 29 and a half days each.
But then these guys teach that Esau can make it. What you like Roger said, the fuck's your problem? That's why we curse, man. You get mad and like I said, Moses was so messed up over dealing with Israel, he asked the Most High to take him, man. That's in Numbers the 11th chapter. All right, go ahead.
It says with an
And see, that's why you got these guys that are making videos and playing Hebrew Israelite scholars and teachers and all that. You got this one clown, Nate Satan, and he's going off too. He's going off just as much as Zabak and Danger Mouse and the rest of those clowns. Oh no, he's super proud. That dude, we knew that. We came up with that dude. You gotta understand, we came up with Karamiah. You know him as Killer Priest. Now he might make, well, no, I never came up under Tahar. No. That's a new thing. That's a new thing, man. I never look. That's why you got to carry around a hidden camera when you with a damn nigga, man. You got to record every goddamn thing. You have anything you do with a nigga, you got, man. Watch Judge Mathis and Judge Judy and all these different judge shows. Man, when the nigga come in, I already know which nigga is that nigga's guilty. I already know that, man. Go ahead.
With an intercalary month called Adar Sheni every 3 years. Every 7th year was a sabbatical year for the Jews, a year of solemn rest for landlords.
They're right on that because that's called the year of release. And that's where Esau got that statute of limitation from. When you get a credit card, it used to be 7 years. Now it's like 10 years. You get a clean slate. They got that from the scriptures, man. If you owe money to somebody and it came in that 7-year period, in other words, let's say 3 years was in that cycle. So you got 4 years, you got to pay the man back. If you can't pay the man back, guess what? He has to forgive you of your debts. See, that's why this society is all messed up, because the Rothschilds, which they're so-called Jews, and they know the scriptures, because the patriarch was a so-called rabbi, so he knows about the year of release and the Jubilee year. And when you don't have that, that causes this situation that we're in now. That's why the so-called United States is in debt for 14. Matter of fact, go to the debt calendar, put the debt clock, and it'll come up right now. The last I checked a couple of days ago, it was 14,153 billion. Now it might be 14 trillion, close to 200 billion right now. I think every 2 days it goes up $1 billion. It's coming up right now as we speak. You can see it on the screen. Go ahead, read off.
Yeah, as of now, the 19th of February 2011, it says 14,165,314 14,165,000,000.
That went up in a couple of days. That went up what, $11 billion, $11 billion. You know, and every once in a while when we do this show, we're gonna bring it up. You should go on it yourself. And there's no way possible you can pay off that debt. The only thing the Rothschilds could do, or the Feds can do, that's their front people, is forgive the debt, pursuant to the year of release and the Jubilee. All right. Say again. Well, they're supposed to forgive that too. If you're about to be foreclosed on during the year of release, you're supposed to forgive. You're supposed to forgive everything, any and everything. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a good time to bring this out. Psalm 50, 16 and 17. But unto the wicked the Most High saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth?
Because they don't keep it any damn way.
Yep. Seeing thou hatest instruction, and casteth my words behind thee.
And that's what the Rothschilds did. That's what they did. Okay. So go ahead.
It says a year of solemn rest for landlords, slaves, beasts of burden, and land, and freedom for Hebrew slaves. Every 50th year was a jubilee year, observed by family reunions, canceled mortgages, and return of land to original owners. Leviticus 25, 8-17.
Now we're gonna focus on the Sabbath, whether the Sabbath comes in Friday sundown, and they showed you in that book, the Zandervan Bible Dictionary, that they didn't observe, they didn't name the days. You have first day, second day, third day, fourth day, and so on. All right. So that BS about Friday sundown and Saturday sundown, that's not scriptural. That doesn't make any sense. Let's start with the first scripture, Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, and the first verse.
Leviticus chapter 23, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feast of the Lord, which you shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is a Sabbath of rest.
6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is a Sabbath of rest. That doesn't mean the seventh day, the next Sabbath falls in. The first day is a new moon. That's the beginning of the new month, new moon. So the first day of the new moon, that's automatically a Sabbath. So the 6 days that you're going to work is what? Day number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You work from the second day to the seventh day. That's your 6 days of work. The seventh, which is day number 8, or the sundown of the seventh, that day is the 8th day. So let's start again. You have the Sabbath on the 8th day, right? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. The 14th day, that's the last day that you work of your 6 days. At evening is the 15th day. That's the next Sabbath. So the Sabbath falls on the first day, the new moon. Then it falls on the 7th day at evening, which is the 8th day. Then it falls on the 14th day at evening, which is the 15th day. Go ahead.
It says, 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest. And holy convocation, you shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy. Verse 4. These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which you shall proclaim in their seasons. In the 14th day of the first month, at even is the Lord's Passover. And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Lord. 7 days you must eat unleavened bread. In the first day you shall have an holy convocation,
which is the 15th day. Now the Passover is the beginning of the feast of unleavened bread. Now the way Ariel broke it down, he said, well, the 14th, that was a Passover, which is the 15th. Then the next day was another Sabbath, and then the next day was the Feast of Weeks. So Ariel used to teach that you had 3 Sabbath days back to back. And then if it fell on a Friday night, they said, well, that fell on a double Sabbath. The word double Sabbath is nowhere in the scriptures. A Sabbath is a Sabbath. There's not no double Sabbath or no triple Sabbath. So Ariel went off on that. So when we had the major split, they needed somebody to put the calendar together, which I never did. So I said, you know what, I'll put the calendar together. All right? Now me and this brother work together to put the calendar together every year that you brothers go to, and you find out what high holy days come in, what day and so forth, and when the new moons come in. So when I went into it, I said, well, wait a minute, Ariel went off on that. The Passover was the night, the sundown of the 14th day, which is really the beginning of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, but the nighttime is called the Passover. Why was it called the Passover? When you go back into the history, the death angel, the grim reaper, so to speak, the Lord coming over and killing the firstborn. That's why after that, when they left out of Egypt, the Most High established that any of your sons or your cattle is mine. Your firstborn is mine. Because he reminded you back in Egypt, I took their firstborn. So now when you have sons, your firstborn son is mine. Your first cattle is mine. Go ahead.
It says, in the first day you shall have an holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein, but you shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord 7 days. In the 7th day is an holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein. Verse 9. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when you be come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then you shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest unto the priest. And he shall wave the sheaf before the Lord to be accepted for you. On the morrow after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it. And you shall offer that day when you wave the sheaf and he lamb without blemish of the first year for a burnt offering unto the Lord. Verse 13. And the meat offering thereof shall be 2 tenth deals of fine flour mingled with oil, an offering made by fire unto the Lord for a sweet savor, and drink offering thereof shall be of wine, the 4th part of an hin. Verse 14. And you shall eat neither bread nor parched corn nor green ears until the selfsame day that you brought an offering unto your power. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. Verse 15. And you shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that you brought the sheaf of the wave offering, 7 Sabbaths shall be complete.
Okay, that's the first fruit. All right. It said after that Sabbath you should count to you 7 Sabbaths. So that's 40. That's 49 days. Then after that last Sabbath, you add the next day, and that becomes a special day. So it's 50 days in all, right? Read that part again about the Sabbaths. Go ahead.
It says, and you shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that you brought the sheaf of the wave offering, 7 Sabbaths shall be complete.
Now, let's go from there and hold that. Give me the book of Numbers, the 28th chapter. We're going to start from the 16th verse and read down to about the 26th verse. Now, I'm going to show you it's going to say the same thing in Numbers, but instead of saying Sabbaths, it's going to say weeks, proving that a Sabbath is the same as a week. So you didn't have the month over here, and then you had weeks over there. Go ahead.
Right. It says Numbers chapter 28, verse 16. And in the 14th day of the first month is the Lord's, and is the Passover of the Lord. And in the 15th day of this month is the feast. 7 days shall unleavened bread be eaten. In the first day shall be an holy convocation. You shall do no manner of service.
That's the 15th day of the month, of the first month. Go ahead.
You shall do no manner of servile work therein, but you shall offer a sacrifice made by fire for a burnt offering unto the Lord. 2 young bullocks and 1 ram and 7 lambs of the first year. They shall be unto you without blemish. And their meat offering shall be of flour mingled with oil. 3 tenth deals shall you offer for a bullock, and 2 tenth deals for a ram. A several tenth deals shalt thou offer for every lamb throughout the 7 lambs, and 1 goat for a sin offering to make an atonement for you. You shall offer these beside the burnt offering in the morning, which is for a continual burnt offering. After this manner you shall offer daily throughout the 7 days the meat of the sacrifice made by fire of a sweet savor unto the Lord. It shall be offered beside the continual burnt offerings and his drink offerings.
So you were to keep that 7 days, but the high holy day was on the first day, which was the 15th, and on the the 7th day. All right? The rest of the week you can go to work. Go ahead.
And on the 7th day you shall have an holy convocation.
So what about the days in between? Even though you kept, for lack of a better term, the Passover week, the holy convocation, the holy day was on the first day and the last day. All right? See, Ariel said you had day number 1, then the second day was another high holy day, then the third day was a high holy day. Then if Saturday was the next day, then there was a 4th day that was a high holy day. So he went off on that. Like we said in Isaiah, this knowledge wasn't given to just one man. Like I said, not knocking Ariel, but it wasn't given to one man. Okay, you got something to say?
Yeah, I was going to say that if that's the case, if you had a Sabbath after the first day, you had another Sabbath like Ariel taught, they wouldn't have left out of Egypt, because then they would be violating the Sabbath.
That's right. That's another good point. Go ahead.
It says, and on the 7th day you shall have an holy convocation. You shall do no servile work. Verse 26. Also in the day of the first fruits, when you bring a new meat offering unto the Lord, after your weeks be out.
After your weeks be out. What does he mean by that? After your weeks be out. When you go back to Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, it says 7 Sabbaths. That's why I say weeks with an S. How many weeks? 7 weeks. Then the day after that last day became 50 days. You had your 47 weeks or 7 Sabbaths represent 49 days. Then the day following makes it the 50th day. That's why in Acts, the 2nd chapter, they use the term Pentecost, which is a Greek term meaning 50 for what? The first fruit. That's when they received the spiritual power to speak in tongues and so forth. Go ahead.
After your weeks be out, you shall have an holy convocation. You shall do no servile work. Back in Leviticus 23 and 16. Even unto the morrow, after the 7th Sabbath, shall you number 50 days, and you shall offer a new meat offering unto the Lord. You shall bring out of your habitation 2 wave loaves of 2 tenth deals. They shall be of fine flour. They shall be baken with leaven. They are the first fruits unto the Lord. Verse 18. And you shall offer with the bread 7 lambs without blemish of the first year, and a bullock and 2 rams, and they shall be for a burnt offering unto the Lord with their meat offering and their drink offerings, even an offering made by fire of sweet savor unto the Lord. Verse 19. Then you shall sacrifice 1 kid of the goat for a sin offering, and 2 lambs for first year of 2 lambs of the first year for a sacrifice of peace offerings. And the priest shall wave them with the bread of the first fruits of the wave offering before the Lord with the 2 lambs. They shall be holy to the Lord for their priests. And you shall proclaim on the selfsame day that it may be an holy convocation unto you. You shall do no servile work therein. It shall be a statute forever in all your generation, on all your dwellings throughout your generations. Verse 22. And when you reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not make clean riddance of the corners of thy field when thou reapest. Neither shalt thou gather any gleanings of thy harvest. Thou shalt leave them unto the poor and to the stranger. I am the Lord your power.
Oh, look up, go to the word poor and stranger, because you're going to get stupid and you come across that word stranger and you're going to say that's talking about another nation. Well, let's go to the blue letter. Even these Edomites know that that's not talking about a person of another nation. So hold your point. I'm going to let him read it in the blue letter. And this is why we teach you stuff like that. See, this class, a lot of people ain't going to really get into because there's a lot of detail. Jake is not into detail, man. You know? They want it right now. Put it before them. You do the work. A lot of you are lazy. That's why a lot of you follow these guys and you go off because you're lazy. You don't check behind them. Remember when Paul said, give me that if you got it in Acts, the church of Berea? Go ahead.
You just want stranger, right? Leviticus 23 and 22, the word there for stranger is, in the Hebrew, is gah, which is the correct word, which means a sojourner, temporary inhabitant.
What does it? Let's examine the word sojourner. You had, if you go to the back of the red book, go to the tribes. Go to all the tribes, with the map with the tribes. You got Manasseh and Gad. And like, for example, Syria is way up here by Manasseh. Like you come across the scripture where Paul went up to Syria because Israelites were living up in Syria. Back in the ancient world, during the time of David and them, or when we established the lands for the different tribes, where Syria is today, you have Manasseh, and I believe you had Gad, and I believe Reuben. I can't see it from here. I see Manasseh. Syria is right about here, right around here. Gad is down here. Okay, you have Manasseh, and I believe you had Reuben next to him. Asher, Naphtali. That's where Syria is today. So a lot of them people over there in Syria, a lot of them could be Israelites. You call them Arabs, but a lot of them could be actual Israelites. All right? Where was I? That was Acts. All right, go ahead.
Acts chapter 16, verse 10. I'm sorry, Acts chapter 17, verse 10. And the brethren immediately sent away Paul and Silas by night unto Berea, who coming thither went into the synagogue of the Jews. These were more noble than those in Thessalonica, in that they received the word with all readiness of mind and searched the scriptures daily whether those things were so.
So that's a lot of you guys are not doing that. You're not searching the scriptures behind what Paul was teaching you whether they were so. You just say, well, I like this guy. I like the way that garment flows. I like the way that beard, when the wind hits his beard just right. I mean, he's the perfect Israelite. He really loves it. He does love her. Some of them love you so much, and they love your wives even more. You know? That's the love that they're showing you. But anyway, you have guys that just blindly follow guys. And we tell you brothers out there in the different camps, don't just take our word for it. Study yourself. Study yourself. Get into the book yourself. We always tell you about the blue letter. That's a good tool, even though it goes off once in a while. But and we taught you the Hebrew. Like for example, Zabak made a counter video because we said something that you don't know the Hebrew, which we never said. We said you don't teach the Hebrew, and it was really in general. So he made a video saying, oh, so you say we don't know the Hebrew. But then in that, I didn't see the whole video, but somebody brought it to my attention that they were saying prayers, and they were praying to Michael the Archangel. And that's clearly in violation of the scriptures pursuant to Colossians, the 2nd chapter. All right? And we read that out on the street. Matter of fact, get it right now, just in case they forgot. Now, you know where he got that from? He got that from the main school, from Ariah, because Ariah used to have us pray to angels, man. And that never set right with me. But you know what? People blindly follow guys. All right, go ahead.
Colossians chapter 2, verse 18. Let no man beguile you of your reward in a voluntary humility and worshiping of angels.
Your worshiping the angels is when you pray to somebody, you worshiping that person. When you pray to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, you worship Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. If you add Michael the archangel to that prayer, you're worshiping Michael the archangel. And there's no scripture that says you're supposed to worship angels. It's not in the Lord's Prayer, you know? Okay. All right, man, finish reading that.
Yeah, this is because Elder Tar said a lot of you guys are lazy. That's why you just blindly accept anybody. This is what Paul commanded the church of Thessalonica. First Thessalonians 4:11. And that ye study to be quiet and to do your own business and to work with your own hands as we commanded you. So this is...
Did it say, and also go on Facebook and try to get as many Hebrew Israelite friends as you possibly can and give your number out and show pictures of your sons and your daughters and your house and give them your address? Be an open, you ain't supposed to be an open book, man. All right, you got more to that, or give me the definition? Let's read the definition again.
Back in Leviticus 23 and 22, the Hebrew word there is gah, which is the correct word, which means sojourner, a temporary inhabitant, a newcomer lacking inherited rights.
Read from the top again, please.
Sojourner, a temporary inhabitant, a newcomer lacking inherited rights, of foreigners in Israel through conceded rights. And
That's the main point. Read again. Definition.
the definition, the Hebrew word there is gah, as opposed to nakah. Nakah is the word that you'll find that in Isaiah 56, that they put that there, the word nakah meaning the real stranger, which is of the other nations. The correct word is gah, which means sojourner, a temporary inhabitant, a newcomer lacking inherited rights, of foreigners in Israel through conceded rights. Down here it says a sojourner, stranger, foreigner, a person living out of his own country.
Yeah, because a man from the tribe of Manasseh that lives in Jerusalem, he's out of his country. But you had Israelite, you had tribes marrying among other tribes. And there was a law on that you know what it is offhand, the law, where if you married a woman from another tribe, because if they didn't put that law up, you can get a man from the tribe of Manasseh that marry a bunch of Judite women, have his sons, and they can wind up taking all the land, the inheritance, because the inheritance went to the man. Go ahead.
This is the book of Numbers 36:1. And the chief fathers of the families of the children of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, families of the sons of Joseph, came near and spake before Moses and before the princes, the chief fathers of the children of Israel. And they said, The Lord commanded my Lord to give the land for inheritance by lot to the children of Israel. And my Lord was commanded by the Lord to give the inheritance of Zelophehad, our brother, unto his daughters. And if they be married to any of the sons of the other tribes of the children of Israel, then shall their inheritance be taken from the inheritance of our fathers, and shall be put to the inheritance of the tribe whereunto they are received. So shall it be taken from the lot of our inheritance.
So that's why someone from the tribe of Manasseh that dwelt temporarily in the tribe of Gad, he was a sojourner. That's why they call him a stranger. That's the true understanding of that. Go ahead.
And when the jubilee of the children of Israel shall be, then shall their inheritance be put unto the inheritance of the tribe whereunto they are received. So shall their inheritance be taken away from the inheritance of the tribe of our fathers. And Moses commanded the children of Israel according to the word of the Lord, saying, The tribe of the sons of Joseph hath said well. This is the thing which the Lord doth command concerning the daughters of Zelophehad, saying, Let them marry to whom they think best, only to the family of the tribe of their father shall they marry. So shall not the inheritance of the children of Israel remove from tribe to tribe. I'm going to read that again. So shall not the inheritance of the children of Israel remove from tribe to tribe. For every one of the children of Israel shall keep himself to the inheritance of the tribe of his father. And every daughter that possesseth an inheritance in any tribe of the children of Israel shall be wife unto one of the family of the tribe of her father, that the children of Israel may enjoy every man the inheritance of his father.
So you couldn't just jump up and be a woman of the tribe of Manasseh and say you wanted to marry outside your tribe. You had to marry inside your tribe. All right? Go ahead.
It says, neither shall the inheritance remove from one tribe to another tribe, but every one of the tribes of the children of Israel shall keep himself to his own inheritance. Even as the Lord commanded Moses, so did the daughters of Zelophehad, for Mahlah, Tirzah, and Hoglah, and Milcah, and Noah, and the daughters of Zelophehad were married unto their father's brothers' sons. And they were married into the families of the sons of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, and their inheritance remained in the tribe of the family of their fathers. These are the commandments and judgments which the Lord commanded by the hand of Moses unto the children of Israel in the plain of Moab by Jordan near Jericho.
Okay, now let's go from there to 1 Samuel, the 20th chapter, the 27th verse to the 34th verse. Go ahead.
1 Samuel chapter 20, verse 27. It says, and it came to pass on the morrow, which was the second day of the month, that David's place was empty. And Saul said unto Jonathan, his son, wherefore cometh not the son of Jesse to meet, neither yesterday nor today? And Jonathan answered Saul, David.
You know what? You're going to have to jump. You might have to go to the top so they can get the understanding. I mean, I can explain it. You're going to read it anyway, but I'm going to explain it before you read it. Basically, you had Saul, King Saul, the first king of Israel. He had David. David came up under him, right? David was, what do you call that? A sword bearer, like a squire, armor bearer. And at first he liked David until he saw that David was a mightier warrior than him. And that when the women cheered, when they came back from battle, they said Saul killed his thousands and David his tens of thousands. That's when that jealousy built up. And then he later found out, well, after he died, David was set up to be king. So they had a feast. They had an actual feast on the new moon. They had a feast on the new moon. They had a feast. The word there is feast. They said you can't have a feast. They made the food before the sun went down, and when the new moon came in, the first, which ushered in the next month, they had a feast. So David was one that normally came to the feast. So he was going through that jealousy thing with Saul. So he didn't show up to the feast. So it said on the first day, they had the feast. On the second day, now what follows the second day of the month? The third day, the fourth day, the fifth day. But these guys are teaching, oh, well, the fourth day, that was a new week. See, it's the third day of the month, but it's the first day of the week. That's total madness. That's why Danger Mouse told his people not to go watch some Hebrew Israelite videos on YouTube, which is wicked. And the Most High is going to destroy that little hairy critter. All right? Go ahead.
1 Samuel 20, verse 1. And David fled from Naioth in Ramah and came and said before Jonathan, what have I done? What is my iniquity? And what is my sin before thy father, that he seeketh my life? And he said unto him, the Most High forbid, thou shalt not die. Behold, my father will do nothing either great or small, but that he will show it me. And why should my father hide this thing from me? It is not so. And David sware moreover and said, thy father, sir.
Yeah, this is Jonathan, right? Now this is Jonathan, that Jonathan became closer to David than he became with his father. it said that their spirits were knit together. Now you got these devils that say, they write books saying that Jonathan and David were homosexuals because they don't understand the scriptures. That's why when we get you damn devils, man, we gonna fucking chop you up good. You know, and all you stupid niggas out there that teach that this devil can make it, the Most High gonna deal with you too. Go ahead.
And David sware moreover and said, Thy father certainly knoweth that I have found grace in thine eyes. And he saith, Let not Jonathan know this, lest he be grieved. But truly as the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, there is but a step between me and death. Then said Jonathan unto David, Whatsoever thy soul desireth, I will even do it for thee. And David said unto Jonathan, Behold, tomorrow is the new moon, and I should not fail to...
Which means the new month, which means the new week. Go ahead.
And I should not fail to sit with the king at meat, but let me go.
What does it mean, shall not fail to sit at meat with the king? There was a feast. They cooked the food before the sun went down, and when the sun went down, to honor the new moon coming in, they had a feast. It happened every month. Then you had a major feast, which was the 7th month of the new moon. Go ahead.
But let me go that I may hide myself in the field unto the 3rd day at even.
There goes the 3rd day. What follows the 3rd day? The 4th day. What follows the 4th day? The 5th day. What follows the 5th day? We got to do it this way, the 6th day, because you people are stupid. What follows the 6th day? The 7th day. What follows the 7th day? The next Sabbath. But that's really the 13th day of the week of the 2nd month. You people are stupid, man. Go ahead.
Want me to jump down? Verse 24. So David hid himself in the field, and when the new moon was come, the king sat him down to eat meat. And the king sat upon his seat, as at other times, even upon a seat by the wall. And Jonathan arose, and Abner sat by Saul's side, and David's place was empty. Nevertheless, Saul spake not anything that day, for he thought something had befallen him. He is not clean, surely he is not clean. And it came to pass on the morrow, which was the 2nd day of the month.
And why did he say he's not clean? Because you couldn't come around when you were unclean. If you came across a dead person, if you had sex with your woman the night before or earlier before the new moon went down, you could have been unclean that way. There was a lot of things you could have did. All right, go ahead.
And it came to pass on the morrow, which was the 2nd day of the month, that David's place was empty, and Saul said unto Jonathan his son, Wherefore cometh not the son of Jesse to meat, neither yesterday nor today? And Jonathan answered Saul, David earnestly asked leave of me to go to Bethlehem. And he said, Let me go, I pray thee, for our family hath a sacrifice in the city, and my brother hath commanded me to be there. And now, if I have found favor in thine eyes, let me get away, I pray thee, and see my brethren. Therefore he cometh not unto the king's table. Then Saul's anger was kindled against Jonathan, and he said unto him, The son of the perverse rebellious woman, do not I know that thou hast chosen the son of Jesse to thine own confusion?
He was talking to his son, and he's blaming on his mother. He said, you like that because of your mother. That's what he said. He said, no, read that again. He cursed, had nothing to do with it. He cursed out, he cursed him out, but he was talking about his mother. Your goddamn mother. You know, you came out like your damn mother. Read that again.
Then Saul's anger was kindled against Jonathan, and he said unto him, Thou son of a perverse rebellious woman.
Saul called his wife, you son of a perverse and what?
Perverse rebellious woman.
Now wait a minute, if these guys is here, they would have known, Saul, you can't be saying that. And you know what Saul would have did? He'd have killed every last one of you monkeys. You know? He'd have doing a dread. He was an expert in war. He would have set your ass up, man. He wouldn't have said nothing. He looked at you. He said, you know, when we go out to battle, I'm gonna set this nigga up. Because he was trying to set up David. You know? You niggas just don't know, man. You just don't know. You know? You guys are to think you're top teachers, man. You ain't deep. You don't get deep in the scriptures, man. You just go by what you were taught back at One West. Well, let me check my notes. What did the notes say? Okay, yep, I was glad I was on the November 6, 1993. Yep, I'm going by that. Put it back down. All right? Now, let's sit on that. We got to the point. Let's go from there to the book of Exodus, the 16th chapter, the 13th verse to the 27th verse. Exactly. Saul was a rough dude, man. He's a rough dude. Go ahead.
Exodus chapter 16.
And then he said it right before his son. He cursing out his mother wasn't nowhere to be found, man. He looked at his son and saw that spirit on him and cursed his mother out. Go ahead. And then Jonathan had to take it. Go ahead.
Exodus chapter 16, verse 13. And it came to pass that at evening the quails came up and covered the camp, and in the morning the dew lay round about the host. And when the dew that lay was gone up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness there lay a small round thing, as small as hoar frost on the ground. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said one to another, It is manna, for they wist not that what it was. And Moses said unto them.
Now, a lot of you guys, if I put you on the spot and ask you what does the word manna mean, most of you guys wouldn't even know. Manna is the Hebrew word manna, which loosely translated means, what is it? Manna, what is it? That's what it means. Go ahead.
This is the bread which the Lord hath given you to eat. This is the thing which the Lord hath commanded. Gather of it every man according to his eating, an omer for every man, according to the number of your persons. Take ye every man for them which are in his tent. And the children of Israel did so, and gathered some more, some less. And when they did meet it with an omer, he that gathered much had nothing over, and he that gathered little had no lack. They gathered every man according to his eating, and Moses said, Let no man leave of it till the morning. Notwithstanding, they hearkened not unto Moses, but some of them left.
Jake was hard-headed. He said, don't leave it, eat it. In other words, it's a day-by-day thing. So what they did was they left it talking about later on I can get some more the next morning. Well, the next morning, as you read down, it was rotted and worms was in it. Go ahead.
Notwithstanding, they hearkened not unto Moses, but some of them left of it until morning. And it bred worms and stank, and Moses was wroth with them. And they gathered it every morning, every man according to his eating. And when the sun waxed hot, it melted. And it came to pass that on the 6th day, they gathered twice as much bread.
Right. It didn't say on Friday. It said on the 6th day. Right. Now, when you go back, 6 days back, that could have been in the middle of the month of the moon. Okay, it is, all right? But you still go by that cycle of the first day. You go 6 days, the 7th day, then you got another week, all right? Then you got the first day, the second day, the third day, all right? But also, certain high holy days, they said on the 14th day at evening, but you had those cycles, all right? Cycles of, 7 days. Go ahead.
Can I read the first verse? This is Exodus 16:1. And they took their journey from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came unto the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the 2nd month, after their departing out of the land of Egypt. So that was the actual Sabbath. You know, then the 6 days they gathered the manna. Back in the 22nd verse. And it came to pass that
So when they gathered the manna on the 6th day, that was what? 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, I think the 21st day. Yep. But it said the 6th day because it went the cycle of 7 days, then another 7 days, and the Sabbath fell on the day after the 7th day. So it was the 8th, from the first day to the 8th day was a Sabbath. The first day of the month was a new moon Sabbath. The 8th day following was the regular Sabbath. All right. The 15th day was another Sabbath. All right. What he just read in the first verse was the 15th day, so it was the middle of the moon. So when they gathered again, it was what 21 days? So it was the 21st day. All right. But they said 6 days. So that shows you right there that there's weeks inside of that moon. Go ahead.
And it came to pass that on the 6th day they gathered twice as much bread,
Which was really the 21st day. Go ahead.
2 omers for 1 man. And all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses. And he said unto them, This is that which the Lord hath said, Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Lord.
Which is what? The 22nd day. So the reason why they were able to gather both, because it was a Sabbath. They wasn't supposed to go out there and pick nothing. And that manna that was left for the second day did not rot and get worms in it, because the Most High performed a miracle. Go ahead.
And he said unto them, This is that which the Lord hath said, Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Lord. Bake that which you will bake today, and seethe that which you will seethe, and that which remaineth over lay up for you to be kept until the morning. And they laid it up until the morning, and Moses bade, and it did not stink, neither was there any worms therein.
Why? Because it was a Sabbath. Wasn't no Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. Go ahead.
And Moses said, Eat that today, for today is a Sabbath unto the Lord. Today you shall not find it in the field.
Which was the 7th day, which was also based upon the time of the month, was the 22nd day. How do you know that? Go to the first verse, because it said the 15th day of the month. Guess them guys can't count. Go ahead.
6 days you shall gather it, and on the 7th day, which is a Sabbath, in there shall be none. Verse 27, and it came to pass that there went out some of the people on the 7th day for to gather, and they found none.
Those stupid, hard-headed ass Negroes, man. I'm going to say jigros. Jigros. They were going to go out on the Sabbath day, man. They knew about the Sabbath day, but they got enough for the covering for 2 days, and them jackasses were still going to go out and try to get some manna, man. And no manna came down. Man, that's why we curse, man. That's why that curse be coming out of our mouth. Because like I said, you guys better not come up with no bullshit, man. And we're going to make this belt tighter and tighter. GMS is going to get tighter and tighter. And these stragglers, these other groups, they just fall by the wayside. Okay? Now, let's go from there. I got a bunch of other scriptures, but you know what? This is basically 2 hours. I told you it's going to be 2 hours, man. We try to do this in an hour and a half. That's why I keep looking at the clock over here, so I don't go over, because we want to get down to the battlefield. Let's go to Numbers 11 chapter and read the whole chapter, and we're going to leave it on that.
This is the book of Numbers, the 11th chapter, and the first verse. It says, and when the people complained, it displeased the Lord. And
what people? Israelites. Just in case you forgot. Go ahead.
And the Lord heard it, and his anger was kindled. And the fire of the Lord burnt among them, and consumed them that were in the uttermost parts of the camp. And the people cried unto Moses, and when Moses prayed unto the Lord, the fire was quenched. And he called the name of the place Taberah, because the fire of the Lord burnt among them. And the mixed multitude that was among them fell a-lusting. And the children of Israel also wept again and said, Who shall give us flesh to eat? Excuse me. We remember the fish which we did eat in Egypt freely, the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic. But now our soul is dried away. There is nothing at all beside this manna before our eyes. And the manna...
They're missing the fact of Egypt. Because even though they were in slavery, they ate pretty good, you know? And that's how Jake is. Jake wanted to stay in America, man. They're trying to save America. These super rich Edomites, they're moving over there to places like Dubai. They're investing in land in Dubai and Italy and so forth, and Greece. Go ahead.
It says, and the manna was as coriander seed, and the color thereof as the color of bdellium. And the people went about and gathered it and ground it in mills, or beat it in the mortar, and baked it in pans, and made cakes of it. And the taste of it was as the taste of fresh oil. And when the dew fell upon the camp in the night, the manna fell upon it. When Moses heard the people weep throughout their families, every man in the door of his tent, and the anger of the Lord was kindled greatly, Moses was also displeased. Moses also was displeased. And Moses said unto the Lord, wherefore hast thou afflicted thy servant? Wherefore have I not found favor in thy sight? That
In other words, Moses is saying, what punishment did I do that I get this job of leading these knuckleheads? The hell did I do for this, man? Go ahead.
And Moses said unto the Lord, wherefore hast thou afflicted thy servant? And wherefore have I not found favor in thy sight, that thou layest the burden of all this people upon me? Have I conceived all this people? Have I begotten them?
Did I have a woman and give birth to all these people? Go ahead.
Have I begotten them, that thou shouldest say unto me, carry them in thy bosom as a nurse?
He said, it's just like babysitting a bunch. You gave me a million babies. I got to change their diapers. I got to give them formula. I got to burp them. I got to feed them. When they cry, I got to comfort them. Go ahead.
As a nursing father beareth the sucker child, unto the land which thou swearest unto their fathers. When should I have flesh to give unto all this people? For they weep unto me, saying, give us flesh that we may eat. I am not able to bear all this people alone, because it is too heavy for me. And if thou deal thus with me,
that's why you guys are the different camps. You don't have to always go to us and say, well, this brother did this and this brother did that, and he threw a brick at me. Well, what should I do? You already know what to do, man. If the nigga throw another brick at you, you run him over with a damn car or something. I mean, if a guy does something wrong, you already know that you read the guy's spirit. You know the guy ain't right. You bring him before the council. If he can't get himself together, you kick him out, man. I mean, you're going to call on us anyway for counsel. What you could do is get a confirmation from us, because now you brothers are leaders. Now you brothers are leaders. But I mean, I understand you're going to come and ask for counsel if you're not sure. You want to be on the safe side. But now you're getting that experience. Now you're becoming seasoned. So a lot of times you might say, well, look, I had to kick this guy out because he did this, that, and the other. You know, I'm just letting you know. So I said, well, that's good. You did the right thing. There's some things you're going to know that the dude just ain't right. There's some things you're going to say, well, let me go get counsel from these guys. You know? Go ahead.
It says, and if thou deal thus with me, kill me.
Right, so what did Moses say? The Most High made him the head of Israel. It ain't easy being a leader, man. You aspiring to be the head guy, you don't want to have that job, you know? And the kingdom is going to be but we all going to be on thrones anyway in the kingdom. All you brothers going to sit on thrones anyway. You're going to have crowns on your head. You're going to have just as many women as I have. I'm planning on having at least 1,000. So all y'all going to have at least 1,000. You're going to be, as the term goes, filthy rich. You're going to have money to burn. But you don't want to be a leader on this side, man. Why you think we got these grays, man? And some of you guys, before you came into this, before you had a beard, you grew a beard. Now you're beginning to get little grays here and there, man. You can't sleep a good sleep at night, thinking about the bullshit that goes on in Israel. Now, Moses was so messed up by it, he basically told the Lord to just kill him. Read again.
I am not able to bear all this people alone, because it is too heavy for me. And if thou deal thus with me, kill me, I pray thee, out of hand. If I have found favor in thy sight, and let me not see my wretchedness. And the Lord said unto Moses, gather unto me 70 men of the elders of Israel, whom thou knowest to be the elders of the people.
And Jethro had broke it down to him. He said, make you captains over the people. So the Most High is telling them, make you captains over the people, make you heads over the people. Go ahead.
And officers over them. and bring them unto the tabernacle of the congregation, that they may stand there with thee. And I will come down and talk with thee there. And I will take of the Spirit which is upon thee, and will put it upon them. And they shall bear the burden of the people with thee, that thou bear not thyself alone. And say thou unto the people, sanctify yourselves against tomorrow, and you shall eat flesh. For you have wept in the ears of the Lord, saying, who shall give us flesh to eat? For it was well with us in Egypt. Therefore the Lord will give you flesh, and you shall eat. You shall not eat 1 day, nor 2 days, nor 5 days, neither 10 days, nor 20 days, but even a whole month, until it come until it come out at your nostrils.
That's talking about they didn't like the fact that they got the manna, and they wanted meat like they got in Egypt, but did to the people of Israel. This other one in Judges 19 is going to be too long. In Judges 19, if you get a chance, you know, at home, read Judges the 19th chapter and Judges the 20th chapter, and I believe part of the 21st chapter. Basically, the tribe of Benjamin, they said they were the sons of Balaam, meaning they were faggots, and they wanted to lay down with this man, and the guest of the house said, lay down with my daughter and his concubine. And they basically gang raped. They wanted the man. They wanted to rape the man, and they basically gang raped the two women. And the one woman, which was the guy's wife, the Levite's wife, a woman, she crawled back to the door, and when she got there, she was dead. So he basically chopped her up into 12 different pieces, bone and all, and sent it throughout all the 12 tribes of Israel. And so what you going to do about that? This is what these Belamites did, which was of the tribe of Benjamin. And what happened was the Mosai, they went to the Lord, and the Lord said, look, go and fight them. And then they fought. Then they went back. What do we do? The Lord said, go and fight them. I think it was the third time. And then the Mosai set up that blue smoke, which they had the children of Israel. And when they looked back to see the fire go up in the heavens, that's when they rushed them Benjaminites, and they basically slaughtered all the Benjaminites. The only ones, all the women were killed, all the children were killed, all the men except for 400 survived. So it was like basically the end of the tribe of Benjamin. So that was a sad day in Israel. And then they had said, well, look, we would let you lay down with our daughters, but we made a vow that we wouldn't have our daughters lay with you. So there was a dance. Where was that? And it started with a Shiloh, right? They had the women dancing, which their people didn't make that vow. So they told Benjamin, look, when they go to dance, it says, catch you the women that you want. So it wasn't no thing, can I go take you to see that movie, what's the new, The Eagle? Can I take you to see? No, they just grabbed them and caught them up. And if the woman didn't like it, it was too bad. And them Benjamite women raped them women. They might have grabbed 2 and 3 at the same time, might have knocked a couple of them out, put them on a chariot, take them home, and pop them. Because they needed more than one woman to build back the tribe of Benjamin. That's why in the Psalms, they referred to Benjamin as little Benjamin, because Benjamin had to build back up again, you know? So we have a hell of a history, man. And you know what you find out about Israel? The one main attribute of Israel is that they hard-headed, man. You know, as you brothers in the different camps can see, all right? But anyway, with that, we hope you learned something, and we'll catch you on the next go-round. Shalom.